All right. And we are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords podcast, episode number 99. One away from 100. It is another glorious Sunday. We are back at the round table on the Lord's Day. I'm extremely excited about our special guest, and we've got the latest Nintendo Direct, Crackdown 3 launch aftermath, Shawn Layden interview, and Black Desert Beta to discuss. So we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord who is not only a good friend to the realm, but also who the Lord finally got the opportunity to meet in the flesh at E3 2018. This Lord's passion for gaming, film, and anime truly resonates and is arguably one of the most passionate up-and-coming members of our entire gaming community. Introducing the host of the Smash and Otaku Fix podcast, as well as a panelist for the Saltiest Gaming and GRG podcasts, the Mixer Streaming and Anime King, and the Lord who may or may not have to bend the lead after Avengers Endgame is released. Live from the Lone Star State and making his debut into the realm of the Lords, my man, Lord Bloodi3Knuckl3z. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's going on, Cognito? I love that intro. That is a great intro, I gotta say.
Thank you, sir.
And I don't care, unlike another certain person on the podcast here, is I will actually bend the knee if it comes down to it. But I already have faith in my knowledge and what's gonna happen, so I don't think that's gonna be a thing.
What was it again? What was it again?
All right, so go ahead,
I would have to bend the knee if I was wrong, or King would have to admit that there's only one true king.
Okay,
that would be the
but
king.
that's the bend the knee again for what again? I want to refresh the people.
The refresher, yeah, okay, was if Pietro, also known as Quicksilver, was going to be alive after the end of Endgame.
Oh, okay, yeah, because yeah.
And I told you that they gonna be doing some time travel.
You told me about some supposed plot that you got. They gave to you, and you got all the information. And I said, I you know what? I totally recall it because I think this is gonna be my best bending knee ever. Because you gonna do it on camera. You gonna do it real well. I love that, and you know real well. I'm down for all of that. I like that. Because you're a true warrior. You're gonna take the knee for real. You ain't gonna do no side angle crap. You understand?
Hey, this camera right here, this brand new baby that you're seeing me off of, it's gonna be put to work one way or the other.
Because you see those headsets that's in the back, you're gonna be right over there with your knees. Right over there. I like that.
Hey, whoa. You calm down.
That's where you gonna be. That's where the knees gonna go. Right there in that corner. I see it. Nice. I like that corner.
Lord, it's your realm, Lord Bloodi. This is long overdue. You've been in on the realm before, but it's short capacities. But it's good to finally have you in the realm.
And I know that's what's actually made this one special. Is that this one we're actually getting it where I'm on the whole show, because for people don't know, I've been on twice, and the first time was the Destiny topic right before Destiny 2 launched, almost a year and a half ago, just before E3 last year. I was on for that segment for like 30 minutes, and then a couple weeks ago when Hogue was on, hopping in on the Activision Bungie split, because I got heated on that.
Yeah, that was a hot one. I know for those topics you're gonna bring it. So it's always good to get your takes, man. So it's good to have you. Let's get this thing popping, man.
Let's do it.
All right. And we have the four horsemen of gaming, those original lords of the realm here at the round table. My co-host with the co-most, my brother from another mother, the difficult game conqueror, and the howl of the young wolf. My man, Lord Addict, how you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good.
That's it
from me today.
Wow. After that intro was just like,
I went at him too, and I thought he was just, gonna have that fire. I thought he was gonna have that Red Bull gumption.
That sounds like
No, I'm perfectly wide awake, but that's all you're getting.
Okay. My man.
What have you been playing there?
Pretty much just Crackdown. I got to start Metro probably tomorrow. I got to do the review for Crackdown first. So.
No doubt, man. That's what's up.
I cannot wait till we get into that topic.
That topic is going to be very interesting.
Dudes ain't gonna like the king off of that right there.
Oh,
okay. Okay, all right. And of course, we have our most technical gaming lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single player selfish experience, and also the Sostradamus, Mr. Offline Profile Illuminati and Lord Patreon of the Iron Bank, my man, Lord Sovereign. How you doing, sir?
What's good, man? Chilling. I'm chilling. Happy to be here.
Everybody got these like this. What's up? What's going on?
That's when you.
Am I the only one animated besides King who came in at the last second?
Nah, you know what
Like,
it is?
You know what it is? That's when you try to mask if you under the table. That's just trying to hide that.
Nah,
So,
Bloody, Bloody. I know exactly what it is. It's that anthem. They got that salty taste in their mouth from that anthem.
I didn't touch that.
Okay. All right.
Hey man, y'all may be salty about that, but I'm having fun with that shit.
I'm glad you are. I'm glad you are. Your knees coming with that salt.
Hey, but unlike everyone else, there ain't no salt in my wound, you know.
You know what? I'm happy that you like it, you know, because a lot of people out here upset with the booting that's going on. They're getting a lot of socks to the butt. But I'm glad that you actually can play a whole experience. Have you had a good experience with it? You played a whole experience through you be able to log in and end the game and come back?
Yeah, I want to hear this too.
Yeah, no, I've actually had no issues going through. I'm actually on the 4th mission. Okay. After you save Matthias and get him back.
On the 4th mission? What?
Yeah, because after I did all the
I feel like you spent half the day trying to get in, and that's why you're on the 4th mission.
Oh no,
Wow.
I've only used like an hour and a half of my 10-hour trial. I was able to get through.
Oh, you ain't even cop. You out here frauding.
You shouldn't have said that, Nux.
Hey, no, because I'm playing on that Xbox. Whoa! You put that away from there.
No, I'm not.
No.
You gonna have to get this one.
Y'all playing on that PC. I ain't about that life.
No, I'm actually not, bro. If I'm playing on Xbox. I'm with you, but I understand. I heard that you was like, yeah, I'm having mad fun. You having so much fun. Why ain't you cop? Why? Where's them dollars at? No, you having mad fun. That's like going in the strip club and not throwing them dollars.
Hey, I already paid that game off. I had that paid.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah, no, don't eat. That's what I'm saying. You put that away right now, Dave.
Okay.
No.
So what you doing then? What you doing right now? You
No,
driving
you
it?
pick that back up. You pick that back up.
Hold on. Get him at it. Because
you want to go, Addict? You want to go? You on your show?
I don't get how someone pays something off, but you on the trial.
This is it.
No, because the fact that, hey, remember on Xbox, 10-hour free trial a week early. I could play the whole game for 10 hours, PC, and I'm trying to pace myself because I'm trying to pay Friday.
I don't get that though.
You're
like
right.
you play like an hour and a half a day. Like it's so lit.
I played that last night because I was actually working.
Hey, hold on. Let me just ask one question.
Mm-hmm.
Could you have just played 10 hours in a week of Destiny?
No, but it's different. Here's the thing. I see what he's saying. Because what it is the EA Access version on Xbox. They're giving you 10 hours, but they're letting you play a week early. Whereas the EA Access Premier Origin thing on PC gives you the full game.
I'm saying.
So when he's pacing himself a week early, because if he blitzes, then he has to wait. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. I thought you was doing the forgery test drive and don't like it and then turn it back in.
No. After E3 last year, that game was already paid off. I paid that right away.
King.
Yo.
Tell me one thing.
Yeah.
Could you just stop playing Destiny because you want to pace yourself?
Nah,
Addict, I'm only pacing myself until the full game.
Addict, you don't pace yourself.
No. You not with you with that, Addict.
Addict, let's give him the benefit of the doubt first.
No.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
I like it
because if he's still playing, because he's on my friends list, so if he's still playing a week later from now, then I know he's official tissue. But if I catch you playing Apex a week from now, we know where you went, bruh.
Oh, hey, you don't got to worry about that because I've only played that game twice.
King, you got to hold the L, bend the knee.
Yeah. We got, listen, y'all can sit there and say all that. Everybody that purchased that anthem, y'all all holding them L's because y'all been getting booted. So don't come at me. He's the only one because he's on the free trial. You know what? The free trial dudes are still locked in. They're trying to get them dollars from them. They're giving them the good servers.
They didn't get no dollars for me because they already done got the dollars. That's it.
Moving
along.
We're gonna give it back.
Yeah, please. Can I finish my intro? Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
You need to stop sandwiching
Wait,
me between these two because Addict comes on, doesn't want to say anything during his turn, but he wants to talk during mine. and then King jumps in.
I'm sorry, Tom.
Yeah, go ahead,
But you know me.
No,
I was
I'm
like,
kidding.
I'm BloodiKnucklez for a reason. When he came at me, I had to give him the hands.
Of
Yeah,
course.
you know, he got to throw them knuckles.
Exactly.
How's life?
Life is good. I can't complain.
We woke you up though.
I've been
Look at
playing a
that.
lot of Crackdown. That's for sure. I'm in the same boat as Addict. I haven't played Metro. Like I swore I was going to play both back and forth, and I just got into that Orb Collective, man, and I'm just down.
Orb Collective.
Is that not true though, Sovereign? Life's
Yeah.
good because you're not playing Anthem.
Until Friday, then I'll play Anthem.
Then you be back on Crackdown on Saturday.
I think I do it.
So you been getting your boom on? You getting your boom on?
Yeah, man. Listen, we have some things to say about that.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get to that topic.
That's gonna be
That's
interesting.
pretty much what it's been, Soft.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it.
And you already know we've got the Incredible Hulk of this, aka the Excess Gamer.
Ooh.
The Lord of Combat Sports, who is a man of his convictions, demands nothing less than that premium experience, and is the leader of the Fraud Alert movement.
Ooh.
Beloved Lord King, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, as you can tell. This has been a better week from last week. Little smiles on my face, a whole lot of energy. My man Bloody is here. Yo, when I met him out in Cali, my man is diligent. You understand? Like, he was like, yo, I'm outside EA Access, where you at? Because that line was definitely rippling. It was crazy by the time he got there. So we had already did the experience. So I came out, met my bro, hit him. Did I hit you with the t-shirt then, or did I hit you later on?
No, we hit up later on because after that y'all were heading out.
Okay,
Y'all went to the beach, and then we met up at the bar.
Okay, yeah. So that's So we was just like, yo, we're gonna catch up later.
Hang on.
Oh, you gonna get that shirt? Yeah, that is. That's my man. So this week I've been playing Black Desert, which I can't wait to get into that topic. Crackdown soon as Game Pass let that baby loose. I was up in there, but it's been Apex all morning learning my character. I've learned that you have to. There it is, baby. He wanted that white crispy too. He got that official tissue.
Royal swag. That's royal swag. That boy looking clean right now.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you all the time, once I got this white gold right here, I had this white gold Saint Seiya hat because I always got the anime swag going. So it's just like, yeah, this is
Teespring.com, y'all. Y'all see the flavor. Y'all see the flavor.
Yo,
Boy, dripping right now.
he got drip for sale. He got drip for sale.
yeah, you know.
Fire. So so when y'all play Apex, don't jump from character to character. Learn that one character, because I learned that real quickly, that you got to master that dude, that he becomes second nature when you're out there fighting, like his supers, he or she supers, and they're like escape moves and how you work as a team. I'm really impressed with this free-to-play game that I will give money to pay for. You know, it just came out of the blue, and I think it's really a super hit. I can't front on it.
The biggest thing that I've noticed about that game is learning how to travel through the map like efficiently and as quick as possible.
Yeah, man. It looked really clean. I gotta give credit to it. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it, Ken.
Yeah, that's it right now. I cannot wait to get to these topics.
No doubt.
Hey, has anyone here been playing that Jump Force?
We're gonna talk about Save That Bloody, because I definitely want to throw that in. And
I got something right there.
When I saw Jump Force from the start, that was a $30 game to me.
Oh my Lord, we'll save it for the end. We're gonna throw that as a bonus. Definitely, I got you, man. We got the anime king in here, so we gotta talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know. So of course you already know we have the Lord of the Cooperative Experience and Gaming Ninja himself, the Shinobi, LordCognito. Spreading that realness in the realm of the ILP, not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So for me, it's been Starlink on the Switch, y'all. I slept on this game. Like, if you're a fan,
Of course, he had to bring up the Switch somehow.
Oh
No,
my
but no, this is gonna be a whole Switch show. Don't front on that part.
Oh,
You
yeah,
already
yeah.
know that. Yo, you already, I hope you brought your boots and your helmet.
I brought a blanket and a
dudes is
pillow.
gonna be
Is that
slinging
better?
mud and dirt all over the place.
I brought a
Don't
but King,
frat
I
it. You know you first
I brought
in
a
line for that
blanket and a
Zelda.
pillow.
You
Does that
first in
work?
line for that Zelda. You know that.
Oh
Tell
no.
Hey,
When we get to that topic,
You know what's funny?
gonna like it.
That's one of the only Zeldas I've never beat. Like I remember playing it a lot, but I don't remember ever
yo, Attic,
being
let's
it.
not get to that. Let's not get to that part. let's save it because it's gonna be. We're gonna have some fun today, Attic. Me and you gonna tag team this out. Demolition Brothers. We gonna go all. We gonna do this up.
It's gonna be
now.
a flawless
Tag team
victory.
back again, baby. We in this house. Let's go.
Well, like I was saying, I was like Starlink for the Switch that had so much reaction here. But yeah, man, it looks real good. If
You
you're
brought it.
yeah, because you know what it is? I was waiting, King.
Mhm.
And I was just like, because Ubisoft with the $50. I'm like, come on, man. Like they wouldn't bring that price down. I would check on the eShop.
But
every
you brought
day.
the little guys, like the little.
I did
shit?
the digital. I didn't do the ship stuff. I
Oh,
know that's you. Like
man.
that's for you. Like
But
they
look
got.
at them. They waiting for the fun.
I know. I listen. I
Weirdo.
was tempted. And it is implemented hot. It's a one-to-one relationship.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It just I can't put that at the job, bro. Like, I can't have
Oh, you at work with it?
Yeah.
Yo, you gotta do that. You gotta do that at work. You gotta record yourself at work. You gotta record yourself at your desk, at your station, in your cubicle or your office. You gotta have your whole labo situation and you walk it past.
No.
You talk about
no.
that Labo now. Now you getting
No.
messy.
This is not Labo. Second of all.
Hey,
Starlink.
don't.
What,
Hey, Sam.
Lord Cognito's playing Labo? What?
Yeah.
No, he got Starlink Labo.
Oh
Hey,
god!
hey, real quick. I think y'all gotta pay the bill, Saf.
Oh, man. Oh, wow. Yes. Hold on.
Oh wow, I didn't realize.
Yes, yo. First of all, shout out to Stitch, our brother Stitch 6669 for the $15 super chat.
Whoa.
He said, this is for the
Baby.
cushions that some of you. He said, this is for the cushions that some of you gonna need for those knees.
No. Hey. And hold up. Another shout out to Monkey Punch right there with the $2 super chat saying knees going to burn today, bloody red. Hey. Hang on here. We say that, right? But if anyone other than the people that we already assume lose, how much is that going to set everyone? Because especially King, I was like, he may not have to bend the knee. He may not have to bend the knee in ours because we're gonna find out come April. But he will have to admit there's only one true king, and it ain't gonna be him.
Yo, you know what's funny? That day is gonna be.
I do think that's low key worse than him bending the knee.
No. Actually, listen, Attic. Think about it this way: that day he's going to lose 2 times because that day he's gonna realize he's gonna kneel before the one true king. So that's going to be the cream of crop.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not feeling how you guys are butchering Game of Thrones for me, man. Like,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, but hey.
On that.
Hey, it's the King's War as they call it, man. The War of 5 Kings, but this one there's only 2 right now.
Yeah, it's over. It's over in a second. I'm about to pick that head off.
Are you guys gonna join forces at the end to fight the undead?
Yeah, probably at some point he'll bring my ass back.
So I can talk about what I was.
Yeah, let's get to this. Let's get to this. You know how I go, Cognito? My bad.
My bad, Bree.
But Starlink for the Switch is lit. I'm loving it. Yo, it's literally like a spiritual successor to Star Fox. And the thing about it that's hot is like it got the No Man's Sky aspect where you can actually go up into the planets and go into the surface, do all that stuff on the surface, do your mineral, your thing searching. It's got the Wing Commander vibe where the people are talking. And the Star Fox characters are seamlessly integrated into the story. Like it's not no add-on exclusive thing for the Switch where they're not really part of it. Look, Fox McCloud is in this story. It is really good, man. So they're coming out with a April update. The reason why I got it is because they're coming out with an April update. They announced on the direct. And that realm is lit today. First of all, much appreciated that y'all respect what we do.
Thank you,
Got to
guys.
pay the bills again.
Absolutely. Cat Daddy Fast X with the $20 super chat.
And Cat, that's all love, Cat, man. You
Hey,
Of course, got me crying in the shower listening to Tony Braxton unbreak my
Oh
heart.
no! Oh no!
Got me hyped, but the overall experience has been a 6.
Oh, hey, Cat Daddy. There's a reason they brought the anime king into the realm. Just wait till I talk about it later. All right. But
I don't feel like there's
But-
anything you're gonna say. To
no.
make me think the game
Trust
made
me.
sense.
When you speak, when I say something, I'm the Japanese enthusiast for a reason, right?
Japanese
So
enthusiast.
when I speak about the Japanese, it's gospel because of the fact that I speak the
It's
truth.
gospel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just had to get that on
So
record.
don't worry. While I may be the person who's the most passionate about it, I'm also the one who's the most critical when I bring about it. So trust me, when I talk about it, I'm gonna surprise some people with my thoughts on it. Okay?
Okay.
Now you two save it. We got a long show. You know how you two get. So let's
Yeah. Save it.
All right. So anyway, but that Damon versus Ex Machina Demino on the Switch in the bushes. I don't even know why. That's
You're not the first person that said that. There's been a
Trash.
few people saying that.
I don't
I didn't
know.
get a chance to play it yet. It's not. So what does it? What does it resemble? What
It
does
just
it feel like?
it doesn't look like it's as fluid as fast paced as they make it out to be.
Yes, it's slow. It just looked like a N64 trying to be
Really?
enders. It just the
Word?
engine is so bad.
It
It's
looks so fast, but
No,
I guess
not
not.
on the Switch. Not the I don't know what they were playing, but the version I got, the demo that for the free. I don't know why they did that. That's a bad look. I did, yeah. That's in the bushes. I've been doing Anthem just like my brother Bloody doing that, getting my Storm on. He got him out here looking like Captain Britain from Excalibur. You know,
Hey,
But
Cognito,
doing-
we still need a link up on that too.
Oh, absolutely. Remember, I'm on.
Cognito, have you had a seamless transition into the game, or have you been being booted?
Oh no.
I've been fine. I've
Have you gotten booted?
I've been booted once.
Okay, thank you. That's one booting. Hey, thank you. One admitting of the booting. Thank you.
The only booting I've seen for some people is that it's when you idle too long, when you sit there, especially if you end up switching to a different program.
So the game's so bad, people don't even want to move around.
Oh,
I mean, I've heard people just been getting booted, just like booted.
I've heard from a lot of Xbox guys that they've been having issues. And
I heard.
I've heard that.
I heard from PlayStation dudes too. The booting has been going down. Like I've
And
heard
see,
from
hang on.
PC dudes too.
How are you
Booting.
hearing from PlayStation dudes when they can't even use EA Access when they don't even have it? So
No. I got people that got games early. I mess with Mr. Lee, brother.
Okay.
we got connects out here. Like out here,
He's talking
we
about the 4
connect.
friends that he knows.
Exactly. Yeah, well, no, Attic is right. I only got 4. Like, I tell you, dudes, y'all think I'm playing Xbox 360 Lover 01 on PlayStation PSN. Please be my friend.
Cat Daddy ended up getting tooted and booted.
Oh no.
Anyway, so that's all I've been playing. But enough about that long show. So now that we've gotten to what the Lords have been playing, I want to start off with Lord BloodiKnucklz, his video game system history, his passion for comics, anime, and film, and what eventually led him to creating the Smash and Otaku Fix podcast. So let's start from the beginning. Lord Bloodi, what were the first video game systems you had, and what got you into gaming?
Oh man. So for me, and you know, I have to preface this. I'm from the young generation, but I have a love for the classics. So growing up, my cousins actually had one of the first consoles was actually a NES and a SNES. So growing up, I actually was playing on those consoles in the early 90s for myself. So I remember playing the original Zelda. I remember playing the original Super Mario, the original Contra. Like I love Contra. My cousin called me the Beast of Contra because I was the only one who could ever get to the second alien temple after the snow level on one. Continue. Like the second alien temple though was always the worst because of the fact that that's where I would always die. But I was like, I can easily get there without using any continues. I loved it. And so I was growing up with that, playing like Killer Instinct and stuff until the late 90s when I was probably about 8 or 9. And that's when my dad actually got a PS1 from my aunt. So she gave that to us to have at our house when she would come to visit, and I would actually play with her. So I remember growing up having the PlayStation 1 all to myself, being able to play like Spyro, Crash. I remember playing the really bad video game adaptation of Die Hard. And anyone wants to know my true history and know that I'm not a fraud. Yeah, I played the Die Hard trilogy on the PS1. Then of course, it had the Nitro wrestling game, WCW wrestling back in the day. All those classics, and I remember playing Metal Gear. My cousin I watched my cousin play Metal Gear Solid 1, and that game affected me back then and caused my love. If you can't tell from my glass right here, I am a MGS fan to the end.
Salute. That was Kojima, man. That he introduced the world to that whole cinematic. I like the Contra thing too. That you actually did your history. They actually put you in that position. You were era of the up, down, left, right, BA.
Absolutely. See, what was funny is that when I found out about the Konami code, I was probably about 11, just before right when the PS2 was launching, right? And I was able to beat Contra using the Konami code by only using 8 lives. So out of the 20 that they gave you, I would be able to beat it with 8, which is only like a continue if you use the base 3 and then getting enough score to be able to get an extra continue. So I would actually be able to beat that game with no issues, but I was trying to beat it without ever having to use a continue. So that was always what I practiced the most of.
Shout out to Lady Fan in the chat. She's loving you. She says, Kojima.
Yeah.
Bro, she's loving the Foxhound glass. She's loving the Metal Gear love that you've been showing. You know what I'm saying? So PS1. Yeah. So then from there, after the PS1, where did you go to system-wise?
After the PS1, I got a Nintendo 64 from a friend, and then that was right when the GameCube was launching, right alongside the PS2. And I remember I got a PS2, and the PS2 was absolutely my go-to for everything, because at that time, the PS2 was the workhorse console for gaming in the early 2000s. It was a DVD player. It was, it had all the big games coming out. Star Wars, Starfighter. That was one of my favorite games, and of course, Metal Gear Solid 2. I remember playing that with my cousin, playing the old Gauntlet Legends. If anyone ever played that, I remember playing that.
I love Gauntlet Legends.
Oh, Gauntlet Legends. We would play on our PS2, but every time we would go to the arcade, they had an arcade version. We'd all be huddled around that playing together.
I used to always love fighting who's going to get the golden hammer. That everyone on the map.
Everyone would literally turn on each other, try to get each other's hammers, try to mess up everyone's controllers and stuff like that. And if you remember back then, especially on the PSC, you had to have the adapter, so that way you could turn each port into 4 ports, so that way everyone could play. So I was doing all that. We played a lot of NFL Blitz back in the day.
NFL Blitz. Wow. Taking it back, baby.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Good history, man. So now from that, did you touch the 360 at all, or you kind of stayed PlayStation throughout?
Actually, no. So coming out of the PS2 era, I played all the big games, especially Kingdom Hearts. That was really solidified, because that was actually one of the first JRPGs besides Final Fantasy VI that I played back on the SNES. That really solidified my aspect with JRPGs. And I was 10, and I beat that game all the way, leveled 100, got every collectible. I was hardcore into that game. And then coming out of the PS2 era, going into the PS3 and 360 was right when I was going into high school, and I didn't know which console I wanted to go with at that time. And that's actually when I met some of my closest friends on Xbox Live who were telling me to go with the 360 because of the fact that that's what everyone was gaming on. That's when I first found out about online and stuff like that. And when I got the 360, all the games I ended up playing there changed my life. I had played on the OG Xbox from one of my cousins who had Halo, and I love playing Halo, but it never brought me into Die Hard mode. Right. Until the 360 when I played Gears 1. Gears 1 absolutely changed everything for me.
Talk that talk. Let me ask you one question about Gears 1. I'm glad you said that. For me personally, I don't know if you remember this. The thing that did it for me was actually the marketing, the advertisement. I think when Ryan McCaffrey had on Peter Moore, and they had the head of Xbox was on, and they were speaking to Peter Moore about when they were trying to pitch Gears of War in the boardroom in the marketing campaign, and they talked about this specific trailer. Do you remember the Cold War trailer for Gears of War? Well, Cold World, excuse me. And they had that cinematic thing and the music playing. Do you remember that trailer?
Yes, I do. I remember all the trailers because up to that point, I had been seeing it, and it was just after the 360 launch, after the PS3 and the 360, and I watched my stepbrother and my dad play it. And I was watching them, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. But I never played it until I got my 360 and played with my friends at that time. And because of that series, I literally the people I played through that whole series with. Gears 1, 2, 3 when they added the 4-player, even Judgment and 4. My roommates, literally my best friends, and we're all planning on getting tattoos together of the Crimson Omen with the brothers to the end on it, because of the fact that it brought us together that much on it.
Dope, yeah, man. I think it was Mad World. Either Mad World or I forget the name of the song. Whatever that song was.
Mad World by Mad World by Gary Oldman, because he did a cover of it. Which the song was originally done by Tears for Fears back in the 80s. For people who don't know,
taking it back. Woo-hoo! He taking it back. Yo, this is a young OG right here. We gotta respect Bloody.
Yeah, he does the due diligence.
So, like some of the young generation on the panel. He actually.
Hey, you're not wrong. Y'all mentioned it, and every time I talk with
compliment at it.
Yeah, it is, because the fact that every time I talk with you guys, and when I talk with Mega and Lemon, shout out to those guys from GOG, is that they always mention
trying to condemn me for not being old. Get out of here.
Yeah, hey, no. But the thing is, you ain't an old soul. You don't respect where it all came from.
See, but also he got 2 OGs that's talking to him.
Yeah,
you understand? Like when he's messing with Lemon and them,
Lemon and Mega. Yeah, you
got OGs in his corner that's really pulling them through.
Because they're the ones who are actually giving me props on the fact of what I already know before my time.
Yep. You got some good OG. We got to get Addict together. You got some good OG.
Nah, you know, Addict is Addict's world, baby. Baby, we ain't gonna touch our dude like that. We don't
Addict got some dope OGs too. You know. What I mean? But that's
Addict do, but Addict's in Addict's world, and I like it.
We let Addict rock.
Where all my equipment was bothering Delilah, so I had to shut that top drawer. Apparently,
yeah, they were going in on that top drawer. I wasn't gonna say that.
Yeah, I was gonna leave it alone. I saw it because I was gonna tell you go put your knees in that drawer, but I want the knees though. I'm gonna take them with me.
That man draws a little bit. Anyway, so besides the gaming history, which is fantastic, you know, also your calling card has always been, you know, the comics, the anime, the manga. Like, so talk to me about that passion, what it started. Give me like maybe some of your favorites that kind of inspired you to get into that world.
Oh, so when growing up, you know, like a lot of people nowadays, my parents split when I was young. When I actually met, or my stepdad actually came into my mom's life and stuff like that. He was a good family friend, known him for years. When he went to his old house, he had me help him pull some stuff out of his attic, right? And when I pulled out some of the stuff from his attic, he actually had a box of old comics. I'm talking like original 70s volumes of Iron Man, the like old school Amazing Spider-Man comics, before it later was rebranded as Spectacular Spider-Man, and then just the Spider-Man back in the 90s before we got Ultimate Spider-Man in the early 2000s, where it's at now. I remember reading some of that. He had the old Detective Comics, volumes 100 through 150.
Let me find out you got a cheat sheet right there, bro. Let me find out that you looking down on it.
Right here. You want to see this cheat sheet right there?
Okay, no, I'm just making sure, because you sitting there running off them facts. You got a whatchamacallit brain. You got a photographic memory or something, bro.
Because of the fact that when I look. Yeah, because when I opened that box and started reading some of what he had, right, it stuck to me because of the fact that he had a lot of those old. He was always a big Marvel fan, right? So me and him always had a love for Marvel films. We went and seen all those together, but he also had a massive love for Batman and some of the DC stuff. So I remember reading those, and those worlds and everything just really blew me away. So I grew up reading those, you know, in the mid 2000s, and of course, you know, I went back and watched all the older Batman films. I watched the original, you know, 60s with Adam West. That's yeah. So I went and watched that. I watched all the original Batman films, you know, with George Clooney. So yes, I know the bat nipples and the bat credit card and all that, but I watched all of them. You know, I've seen all those. So I've always been a big fan of those because of the fact that it was what I got to grow up with, and I just love seeing those.
What's your best one? If you're gonna be biased and you're gonna pick one of the Batman movies that came out. What's your best one?
The solo Batman films,
Mm-hmm.
I would have to say Batman Forever.
Okay. I'm down with you.
All right, certified. A lot of people love it, no doubt. What about Marvel? What's your best MCU film currently right now?
My best MCU
Number
film,
one right now.
Right now, number one still stands for me as Civil War, because that's when we really got. That's when we first got the introduction of Black Panther and everyone else. But that's when we got to saw. That's when we got to see Winter Soldier come back and do his thing.
Yes.
And I've always been a Bucky fan, because Bucky's version of Captain America was always one of my favorites. No diss to Sam. I love Falcon, but Bucky is the one who's meant to pick up the mantle.
I don't think he should be Captain America. I always found that to be stupid. You know, when they gave him the shield and he flying around in the air with a shield on his arm. I thought it was absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
All this, what do they call it? When they give a black guy a shot and he's not supposed to get the shot, but he's what affirmative action? Yeah, you gave the affirmative action for the Falcon, and I did not appreciate that. I actually thought Falcon was not supposed to have that shield on. I thought it was really stupid. I hated the whole storyline.
Like it was a Black History Month.
I was really pissed off with that. Everybody equal opportunity on the shield crap. I did not like that. I'm down with Bloody.
Like I said,
Bucky's supposed to get it.
Yeah, Bucky is meant to have it. Like, don't get me wrong, I respect Falcon and love Falcon, but him as Cap was never worked. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked his costume under Cap, but it wasn't. No, he's not meant to carry that mantle. I think they need to solidify him as his own hero, as the Falcon. Bucky literally takes over for Cap because of the fact of the bond that him and Cap shared. And after the assassination attempt, after the end of Civil War, and I called this out after that movie came out, is that Bucky was meant to take over as the mantle, but Captain Marvel was meant to lead afterwards.
No doubt. But I gotta respect the Civil War choice, because also I like that you said with the introduction of Panther and Bucky doing this thing in Spidey. But I actually like the fighting of Black Panther in that movie as opposed to his own. I feel he didn't get busy enough, and I credit that to the Russos. But that's enough stuff. We'll talk about this all day.
Oh yeah, definitely. But
the anime aspect in the manga. Let's get
the anime aspect. All right. So being of the young generation, I was actually at the forefront of the anime movement here in the West. You know, growing up in the late 90s and early 2000s was when we saw the rise of it kind of coming over here. You know, we saw the start with Pokemon. Pokemon became a global phenomenon over here in the West as soon as it came over from Japan. Everyone loved it. I had so many Pokemon things that even my sisters had some. My mom loved it, able to get all through with that. But we also saw the coming of classics like Big O, basically Batman and a giant robot. We saw classics like Trigun, Gundam, Cowboy Bebop, still one of the top of all time. Yu Yu Hakusho, one of the biggest shonen of all time.
Hakusho, wow.
Yeah. Then of course you also had other classics like Neon Genesis Evangelion. You know, another classic mecha that really lasted in effect.
You better say something about Ghost in the Shell or something.
Oh yeah, Ghost in the Shell. But remember, we only in the West we got the TV show, which is Standalone Complex. We didn't get the movie until years later, so people need to be aware of that first. But yes, Ghost in the Shell was also one of those founding aspects as well.
Any gotcha man for me? Any don't gotcha man?
Oh no! I grew up watching the Power Rangers, so you know I watched the original Super Sentai. So I got to see all that, and then probably in the mid 2000s is when they started showing a little bit of Kamen Rider. So Super Sentai really came over with that aspect. But I went back and showed my colors watching Robotech, and grew up with the original Transformers Gen 1 because of the fact that my grandpa collected the old VHS tapes.
Did you say Fist of the North Star? Did I hear Fist of the North Star?
Fist of the North Star, I actually caught later, but yeah, I loved Fist of the North Star growing up because Kenshiro is literally one of the baddest for those baddest around. Gotta love Kenshiro with the Hakoto Shinken.
Yes,
what he studies. Yes, gotta love that. And
what's
then
funny, I'll tell you a quick funny story is I didn't know about Fist of the North Star growing up, and like when I had the Genesis, I had Last Battle, so I thought that Last Battle was the OG, and Fist of the North Star was. No. I was like, yo, Arzak is the truth. I don't know who this Kenshiro, he biting the. Yes, that was my joint. Continue.
Yes, and then of course, I see everyone in the chat there with some other classics. Yes, also growing up, I grew up with the rise of Studio Ghibli here in the West, Princess Mononoke, Grave of the Fireflies, Howl's Moving Castle, Kiki's Delivery Service, all the classic Ghibli. And then
Guyver.
Guyver. I actually watched Guyver, and I also watched the original live action of Guyver.
Yeah,
that was actually one of the coolest things ever because I thought that was really dope.
They did it really well too. I like that.
And then of course Akira, yes, Bone Slave, yes, Akira is still one of the greatest anime films of all time and still holds up to this day.
Yo, Bloody, don't you notice the animation in Akira can last to this day? Like if you put it on right now, it's just as good as some of the animation movies that they put out right now.
And I actually, about a year ago, some of my roommates had never seen Akira. As some of them, two of them are kind of dry or like wishy-washy with anime because of the fact that they have to find ones that actually interest them. The other one, watches a lot of the bigger shows, but I have to tell them about which ones to watch. I sat them all down to watch Akira, and they were blown away. And I'm like, this film is 25 years old, almost 30 years old, and still holds up to this day.
Absolutely, man. Yo, tremendous anime history, bro. Bloody, you get an Iron Lord salute, brother. Like you're taking me back.
He knows his facts, bro.
He knows his facts. And one thing I want to conclude also is that you're one of the hardest working lords right now in the community. And one thing I want to talk about is obviously the creation of the Smash podcast, and then looking with our old friends, good friends at the Realm from Tick for the Otaku Fix podcast. So how did you link up with that to get that going, both of those going? And then also you're like a panelist on like some real prominent podcasts. You got TSGP with Lord Salty and our boy Lord K Mega with GRG. So let's talk about these podcasts, man. How did all these things come together?
So how that all kind of led is that I was actually watching I found a few of the people big in the community on YouTube and on Twitter about a year and a half ago, probably in late 2017. Started just following people and just started watching the podcast, listening to them while I did a lot of stuff, and started getting involved and just like talking the chats here and there. And I ended up getting to meet K Mega offline after listening to GRG one time, right? And when I was talking with him, I ended up getting to add him on Xbox and talking with him. And, I was cutting up with him and 100 and some of those guys. And really just kind of showing off, how passionate I am about gaming, some of my knowledge. And one day when I joined the party talking with those guys, I got in the middle of a conversation. K Mega and 100 was saying that they wanted to add some new blood to the show as they were getting rid of or kind of switching things up. And as soon as I joined in, all I hear is 100 say, well, why don't you have Bloody? He's like, I'm just like, wait, what about me? He's like, yeah.
Coach, put me in, Coach, put me in.
Yeah, he just literally said, why don't you put him in? And I was like, wait, what did I just jump into? And he's like, yeah, Bloody. He's like, why don't you come on? I was like, wait, come on for what? He's like, why don't you come on to an episode of the GRG podcast? I was like, yeah, I'd be up for that. And a week later he had me on, and that was in October of 2017. I did my first ever like podcast debut, and that went well. And after that, I was talking with K Mega like the next night. He's like, everyone really liked you. He's like, why don't you stay on permanently? I was just like, yeah, sure. So after that, I ended up doing that. And then I started talking with some other people who I'd been following in the community and gotten into party chats with before, which was Super G, Operation Algonquin. Yeah, Super G. Supra. We gotta make sure. Super G.
Let him Supra.
Yeah. Oh well, I'm country. I'm Southern, so when I say Supra, it's Supra.
I'll feel it.
Out real quick.
Respect.
But Super G, I got in with him, and then Operation Algonquin and also Soul King were online, and we were all in a party chat with a couple other people, and we were all talking about, and this was shortly after the DN film live action came out the summer of 2017. And I say DN because I'm not going to call it by the name that it was given because it does not deserve that name. But let's just say that live action for an anime adaptation was god awful, completely trash. And we were literally sitting there like ripping it apart as everyone was watching it in the party chat together. And we started talking about anime, and they're just like, wait, are we going to start an anime podcast? They're like, this sounds like an anime podcast. I was like, you know what? I was like, let's do it. And they're just like, hell yeah, let's do it. And they were just like, wait, who's gonna host it? And they're just like, well, why don't you do it? I was just like, you know what? Yeah. So come the end of October is when I officially started the Smash podcast with those guys, and we've been running ever since, and it's just been a wild ride. And because of my up and coming knowledge with that as being an anime eccentric and a Japanese enthusiast, along with having to premiere on GRG, and then later getting invited by Salty, who had heard me on GRG a few times, invited out to do a few episodes of TSGP, and then later inviting me on as a permanent panel member. I just started getting a lot of recognition. That's how I ended up meeting you guys, because I actually did an episode first with David, who came out there on TSGP one episode. And then a couple weeks later, almost a month, Cognito, you came on, then me and you started talking. And then we all started talking in the DMs. And that's when, right before me and you ended up, you invited me out for the Destiny episode about a year ago. And just after all that, and after E3 and my kind of upcoming, the guys from Tick over there and Cal, so much respect to him. He came to me and said, "Hey, I want to start." He's like, "We had an anime podcast on the website." He's like, "It didn't work out," but he's like, "I only have one writer for the network and stuff like that." He's like, "I want you to partner with him on this. Help me on." Like, we want to reach out to that demographic, and he's like, "And we want people who actually know about that." And you know, that was shortly after I got the moniker the Anime King, and like everyone started coming to me about all that stuff. So I felt humbled when they asked me, said, "Hey, you're the most prominent about this in the community. We want you to start this project." And I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I'm all for it. So me and JD started talking. We got it going. And then they reached out to me and said, "Hey, why don't you become an official partner with us doing this project?" And that really showed to me just how much in a short time a lot of people have come to know me, as well as see the knowledge and kind of my passion about everything I talk about.
Absolutely. And it's really good to see, because we all see your passion. Obviously, we bumped into you out at E3. We bumped into you with many podcasts, and that's one thing that resonates. So it's good to see in this short period of time, just based on your hard work and your passion, and also the lane that you have. I feel it's such a unique lane, and it's really underrepresented. So to see you out here moving and shaking with the big dogs in the industry and getting your just due is really cool. So I'm proud, man. We want to keep that rocket going, man.
And it's amazing to hear those words about that, because like when I met y'all at E3, especially last year, I was only doing Smash and on GRG for about 6 months, 7 months. And I was only doing TSGP for almost 5 months. And I'm just like, I'm at the one event that I've dreamed of since I was a kid, being in love with gaming. I'm just like, how did my life just starting with all these people?
Big dogs on that rooftop, brother. You was with the big dogs, baby. It was some movers and shake shop. Megatron's in the chat. He was up there. We had GRG. We had the women of gaming in there as well. You know,
Dog and
Dog. We had biker, but we had
we had 10.
Oh yeah, Downer was up there.
And then of course that they seen the pictures that you posted up, and of course David. We were up there hanging out with Mike Ibarra before we started hanging out with some of the other execs the next night at the downtown bar. Like it was crazy, man. It was a fun time.
Shout out to Megatron on that whole putting it together.
Definitely, much love, Megatron. It was great meeting you. Can't wait for this year too.
The con leader. Tremendous history, man. Let's finish it off. I gotta ask you the question that I asked all the guests of the realm. Lord Bloodi, I need top 5 video games or franchises of all time.
Oh, okay. So because of the fact that it had the biggest effect on me, and I'm a massive fan of it, I have to say number 1 is Metal Gear Solid. I mean, if you can't tell from some of the stuff that I have around and some of the tattoos I have planned, I'm very much a Kojima fan. Number two was definitely Gears of War, because it gave me some of the best friends that I've had and the closest family that I've had throughout gaming. Number three was Contra, because of the fact that literally I remember going to the arcade when I wasn't playing at my cousin's. I would actually go to the arcade that was in our neighborhood and would actually play it on the old school arcade machines there, you know, with all the classics like Galaga and stuff like that. You know, old Donkey Kong back in the arcade. So I love playing that. Number 4 is Tekken, because Tekken
My man.
Yeah.
Knew I liked you.
Because Tekken 3 was one of the first fighting games I played back on the PS1.
Yeah.
That one has stuck with me since.
Arcade.
Because
Perfect conversion.
yeah,
Extra features.
originally my character was King. I used back in the day, but when
What was that?
hang on, back then,
So you just made a.
but hang on, yeah, because so yes, King was my man back then because of the fact that was one of my favorite characters. But come 6, when that came out, I fell in love with Dragunov. Dragunov became my boy because you can't mess with Russian style Sambo, man.
I have one question for you. Did you know how to pull off the rolling death cradle?
Oh, see, Sav, you on another level with that, though.
Yeah. So I knew how to do it. I just could never get it to connect half the time.
Listen, let me tell
Because
you
because when that was out, when I really got into fighting games, thanks to my stepbrother at the time, is that I was practicing a lot trying to get that right when I was learning how to use them. And I practiced it so much. I was like, yeah, I could do it. Every time I was in a fight, I could never connect it enough.
Listen, let me tell you something about Sovereign. It didn't matter where you were. It didn't matter what you was trying to do. He knew how to cancel whatever you was doing and put you in that rolling death cradle.
Yup.
He's so nice with that character that I was ashamed that he's jumped from that character and went to Brian Fury and was equally as dangerous.
Yes,
with
Brian was one of my
character.
other favorites, and Brian was a beast because of the fact that.
Oh, wait, what's that move called? The rolling death cradle?
Rolling death cradle.
That seems extremely.
Yeah, it is
Addict, let me tell
extreme.
you how bad it is. He could be losing the entire match. Gets that grab off, and you have to sit through 10 animations of your man getting mangled. And then his leg spread, and he takes you up in the air.
Is that why they started doing those break combo things?
That's the thing. There's only certain points during the combo where you can break it.
Yeah. So when I started, I said, okay, he ain't gonna get this. I don't care what's going. I'm gonna memorize the move that it stops the ending part of the rolling death cradle where you just watch your life just evaporate, right? But then he changes it up.
Yep.
So he knows that you're gonna try to break out of it there, and he'll do the alternative ones.
Yep.
And disrespect you more. Like it was such a guessing game of watching you get manipulated, playing against Solve and Tekken.
So pretty much like the first time he uses on you, look like that Pikachu meme.
If I catch you right at the start of the match, it's over.
Yeah. And what's worse about it is that when people come up against King players, especially if they really know how to use Kings, and he knows how to go from those grapples into everything, you're almost never going to get out of it. If you let him get any one of those like quick grapples in, it's done for because he can go in from the slam straight into a roll right over and then get your leg, then pop you up into the body slam. You ain't getting out of it because that's all he does.
Check it out. Sinners in the chat. Sinners is in the chat. He knows what I'm talking about. We are the Taekwondo kick characters. So he takes Bayek, I takes Warang.
Oh, yes. Warang became my second character because of the fact that literally, because that flamingo stance has that switch up. Yes, the switch up with the flamingo stance, you can keep switching up from kicks all the time. Yeah, his punches were very quick, but the way that he would flip into those going into flamingo stance, even though you're hopping on one leg and people try to go for those low kicks to trip you up, the way that he can quickly go into a kick down and then go right back into it and switch up.
Fake the counter people, but his character specifically had kick counters.
Yep.
So it nullified a huge part of our offense. So you have to throw punches with him. So it was such a mental messing game. Oh, you just brought you took us back.
Hey, that's what I tell you. That's what people don't understand is that my passion goes across eras. I was like, so I love it. And now
continue.
For my number 5.
For number five.
For the last one, I would have to say one of the franchises that probably left one of the second biggest impacts, or one of the last biggest impacts for me that has kind of transcended, would definitely be Tom Clancy, and especially the Rainbow Six series.
Whoa.
Because of the fact that I remember playing some of the older Tom Clancy games, and I remember playing Splinter Cell, but it wasn't until really Rainbow Six Vegas 1 that I got completely drawn in by the realistic military shooters. And I remember that one, right? Because it was all first person shooter all the way through up until when you have to shoot blind fire, right? You hold the left trigger back on the PS2 and the 360 controllers and all that stuff, right? And you would actually see your character model up against the cover, so you get that third person shooter to be able to blind fire around corners and stuff like that. So I always fell in love with realistic military shooters after that. Like Tom Clancy, I remember reading a lot of the books and stuff like that. Advanced Warfighter, of course, like I said. Yeah, like all those. I remember reading a lot of those series.
Yo, tremendous list, man. Probably one of the best top 5, man. For me, I'm biased because I like your top 5.
You know, his top 5 was definitely lit and it's very unique. I like when people grab the top 5 and it's not generic.
Yes,
it's so diverse and it's personal.
It's not just the normal. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but
like not the normal Zelda, Mario.
And nothing to be wrong about, right? I love Zelda growing up, and I loved Mario and played all those games. But I was like, while I played them, they didn't have those effects on me like these series did. Like I said, I love the Final Fantasy series. But you know, everyone was playing 7 when that came out on the PS1. That 7 wasn't my all-time favorite Final Fantasy. No, that was 6. And 6 is the one that really sold me on JRPGs because of the fact that you actually had a villain who succeeded and was actually legitimately terrifying, because Kefka is probably one of the top villains of all time. And I will stand by that.
Addict's about to fight. Let's move on.
No, actually, he's not. Addict's gonna let that rock because that's subjective. Let's go.
Addict will fight. But anyway,
you have to care to fight.
How you gonna come out the woman got to care to fight? Anyway, moving along. Last week's poll results are in, and the people have spoken to the question: with the surprise reveal and tremendous success of Apex Legends for Respawn and Electronic Arts, which EA franchise do you feel has the most to lose now based on this release? The winner of the 4-way poll at 43% was the Battlefield 5 Firestorm. Who's going to buy paid Battle Royale DLC now group? Coming in at second place at 25% was the I Don't Care Fortnite is finally thrown in the bushes.
Yeah.
At a razor close third place at 23% was the Anthem. Apex release date is too close and can affect their momentum group. And sadly, at last place at only 9% was the spinoff. When will Titanfall 3 release group? So shout out to all the Lords.
That was me.
Last week's poll. We give it to Saul. Lord Saul. What do you feel about this?
I mean, I agree. I think who's gonna pay for a Battlefield Battle Royale now? Like it makes no sense. Like in the short term, I can see how it affects. It might take eyes off of Anthem just because somebody might be like, you know what, why pay for this right now when I have something free I can play? So it doesn't make a lot of sense, but the games are very different.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of taking attention away from it rather than it sort of usurping it as that type of game, because it's not that type of game. So I think in the long term, it's just Battlefield is done in that regard. Unless it's something they come out with some modes or something that are super different and super unique, I don't see it making a dent against this stuff.
I feel it.
I do think if this train keeps rolling, I mean, again, Fortnite is a special thing,
right? But
I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see how the generation ends off if this thing keeps rolling. And I hope that Respawn has really looked at Epic's model for updating Fortnite. Like right now in Fortnite, apparently there's some cracks in the world that people don't know what the hell they are yet. This is what I'm talking about. Like it keeps people interested in the world.
Apex is already on it because they're already starting to load in Valentine's Day content and stuff.
Right.
So they're already looking at that, which is kind of why they're ahead of the curve right now by looking at the Battle Royale. And we can kind of give Anthem a lot of flack one way or the other, but I think BioWare knows what they were trying to do for. Yeah, people are gonna say, hey, it doesn't have PvP, but they're looking at the power fantasy that Destiny had early on, focusing on the PvE content, and I think that they've looked at enough what updates with those kinds of styles from them to Warframe and others to see what they need to do. So now it's just really both of these games. The biggest aspect, while they have the appeal right now, is will time will they be able to stick to it? Will time show that they can stick to it, or will they not? Because Respawn right now literally has all eyes on them with how big Apex has become in just over 2 weeks, right? You know, in a week they did a quarter of what took a year for Fortnite to get. They pulled a lot of the Fortnite crew.
I do think when it comes to that, if Apex would have came out first, you would have had a similar result that you saw with Fortnite.
Yeah.
Think of all the eyes on Fortnite. You know, it was easier to get that kind of traction.
and you got to think the reason that was is because Fortnite has really gone into the BR scene unabated. Even when Blackout came, and Blobs 4, it did, while it was definitely good and was a solid product, it didn't have the longevity to compete with Fortnite because of one big reason, right? And that's because you had to pay to get into it. You had to buy Black Ops 4.
Do you hear how people try to sit here and be an apologist for not having PvP? Like you sitting here actually tried to sell me a bill of goods.
No, we're fine. We're fine with a game having no
single player content. I'm not fine with that.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna be calling out,
let's call it out.
No, if we're calling out not having PvP, then we should be calling out every game that doesn't have a PvE.
No. If you're gonna jump up in that genre,
two sides.
See, this is the thing. You're putting a game that's inside a genre, but you're saying we're gonna exclude what's the norm for every game in that genre.
Okay,
so you're gonna come in. You're gonna come
in PvP,
huh?
Did Borderlands have PvP?
Borderlands is not an MMO,
but is it not a looter shooter?
Stop the crap!
Hey, no, is it not a looter shooter?
There we go.
No, is it not a looter shooter?
Okay, time out. Stop it. You know for a fact Anthem is made up as an MMO, right or wrong? Let's get it.
It's an MMO.
Let's get it.
MMO light.
No. Stop it. Let's get it. MMO or not? Because you keep talking about Destiny. So you keep associating it with Destiny.
Destiny is also MMO light.
Bro.
It is MMO light.
Let's get to the real base attacks of this.
I don't understand.
You keep associating it with Destiny, right? So the fact that you're trying to associate it with its superior, why doesn't it have the same things and it's coming years later?
Because here's the thing. One of the biggest things that if they do that is they have to look at what Destiny is doing wrong. Because Destiny, if you look at the PvP side, while it has it, affects the PvE. Because of the fact that their system, their entire engine, they don't know how to separate the two, not like a game like World of Warcraft, all right? World of Warcraft has built... No. World of Warcraft has separate balancing issues for the equipment for PvE and raiding content compared to their PvP and the arena. Bungie never knew how to properly disassociate the effects of affecting PvP and PvE.
Why not ship the game out when it's good, when it's all together? Like, why not ship it when it's cooked? Like, who's selling half-baked cakes? This is what I'm talking about. Like, who the hell wants to buy a half-baked pie? Like, who don't want the crust on their pie? Give me the crust on my pie. But these dudes serving middle pie. Like, here's the middle of the pie. You're not gonna get the crust. I don't want middle pie. I want my whole pie. And you guys, and you sitting here, you eating this up like you like, but this PvE though. But no, bro. I want the crust. The crust is the fight, bro. And you not no. I want to look at a dude and want to be able to punch him in the mouth. I want to get him. Like, yo, we're gonna handle this. See, you don't got that.
I don't understand this Anthem love.
Why is this the Anthem slander podcast? We do not have Anthem at the topic. The last time I checked, Anthem is not on the docket.
You know what? It's a fact. Let me back away from it. I just
hey, y'all have a separate podcast where y'all two go to the side and y'all go with your Anthem.
Hey, Cognito, like I said before, reach out to Eric's and we're gonna start that freelancing podcast and let King come out, and then we'll do it. Yeah.
Yo, and also I'm gonna get Ebontis for you, Bloody, because he's on your side.
You know what it was, right? Yeah. It was he brought that up, and then he did the apologist thing, and I'm like, no.
No more Anthem talk. We got
let's go, man. Let's get to these topics.
Because I got me and Solve need to talk our talk.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah,
Damn it.
Where's my helmet at?
I can't go anywhere. Now I got people in chat calling me Baby Bot again. They call me
Nah.
Xbot Junior.
Nah, that's the man right there. Nah, that's the
Where
man.
is
Shout
the
out to Xbox.
helmet at? Because
Yeah,
it's
buddy.
about to go down.
All right, here we go. So let's get to these topics. And as we know, the Nintendo Direct was recent this week, and a lot of stuff to break down, a lot of impression. And
Is there really a lot of stuff to break down?
Oh, there's a lot of stuff to
let's-
break down, baby. Let's get it.
Not
So,
do this. Let's
so
not do this.
yeah,
Oh,
man.
no. Don't do that. Don't do that.
So pretty much, we just want to talk about that, and I wanted to bring this to attention first. Obviously, what was displayed, and then I'm going to link it into part 2 of this discussion. So the first part, let's talk about what some of the highlights of what was displayed and kind of the release window of what's going on with Nintendo right now. So one of them in March, we're going to get Yoshi's Crafted World. You know what I'm saying? April, we're going to have a lot of release to existing games, download releases as far as Smash Brothers get the spring update. I believe Box Boy and Box Girl get something as well. June, Super Mario Maker 2, which is a huge one. A lot of people been waiting for that. July, we're getting Fire Emblem, The Three Houses, you know what I'm saying? And Dragon Quest Builders 2. August, my game, early Game of the Year nominee, Astral Chain. Got my eye on that.
Crazy.
It's delayed.
Well, shut up.
Oh,
Don't put that
no.
energy out there. Don't put that energy out there.
I'm with you there.
All right. So that's my early low pick. And then for me personally, again, another one for summer, we're getting Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we're getting that. And then for the fall, we're getting Animal Crossing. Luigi's Mansion 3 has already been confirmed. We should get a guaranteed Pokemon RPG, not a light, not a Let's Go.
Good, let's
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Aren't you? This is all you're mentioning stuff that wasn't mentioned in the Direct.
I know. I'm just putting out heavy hitters. So I'm not even going. I'm gonna let you go for that. But then, which surprised a lot of people, was the Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening remake. You know what I mean? So that was a huge. And then we heard that Nintendo is publishing the Dragon's Quest 11 port with a ton of exclusive features only to the Switch. So basically what I say is to say this. So we round this up based on everything that was released. And I skipped a whole bunch. Do you think, the round table, that the Switch is now poised to dominate MPD and the mindshare like they did in 2018 all over again in 2019 and better the Xbox and PlayStation again? So I'm going to bring it to Lord Bloodi first. And what do you think, man? Did you catch this Direct? Did you, based on what you saw or didn't see, what are your expectations coming in for the Switch in 2019?
When I went back, because I watched it after, right? So I tried to steer away from all news. So I went back and actually watched it while I was at work. And a lot of what they announced has me excited for the Switch, because right now we have a Switch in our house, right? It's my roommates. We share, we've all played it and stuff like that. This year's lineup, especially with some of the other games that are already out, is making me want to go and buy my own Switch for my downstairs. Because if you can't see over here, I have my X, I have my PS4, I have all my other stuff, and a couple of my other consoles, my PS3, my 360, all upstairs, right? So my Switch is definitely going to be on my buy list because of 2 big games. Link's Awakening was absolutely one of my favorites, but right behind Link to the Past. Link to the Past is still my all-time favorite Zelda, but Link's Awakening I'm absolutely excited for. And when they announced that remake, we already heard rumors about it for a while now. And when they actually confirmed that it was getting a full remake, that's great to see. And I was excited for that. But the biggest thing I was truly excited for was a proper sequel for Fire Emblem. We haven't gotten one since the last one that came out on the 3DS. Yes, we had the one that they released on mobile, which was, it was all right. It had the Fire Emblem appeal, but it was a mobile game. They had the, the microtransactions and all that stuff, and it was fun. But I've been wanting an actual Fire Emblem, and when they made the announcement of the Nintendo Direct and made that the big name that they were putting out first, I was all excited for that because I love tactical RPGs. If anyone hasn't followed my mixer, I've been playing through Valkyria Chronicles. I love the tactical RPGs. Fire Emblem is one of those ones that I absolutely love to this day. And I'm excited for that. That makes me want to go get my Switch. But Super Mario Maker, everyone has played through the original Super Mario Maker, doesn't matter whether you were just playing or people who were creating, that game was so big because of the nonstop creativity of that community. Then, of course, after we already got the announcement a few months ago for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, the Black Order for Nintendo, I was excited for that. I played the original 2 Marvel Ultimate Alliances back on the 360. Sad we never got a third one, but congrats to Nintendo getting that as an exclusive. I'm excited for that.
Oh, huge game.
Absolutely huge. Astro Chain was definitely one that caught me off guard, and I'm excited for that.
Save that one for me when I get to go. Save that one. Don't go too hard.
I won't go too far, but hey, but I know he is. But now actually getting
if that game was on the Xbox, he would not be hating.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I would not play it.
He probably hates it just like everyone who hated on what was it, Hollow Knight, because that was on Switch only before a couple months later it came out on 360.
Gaming in the building, baby. Salute, Salty. What's going on?
Yeah.
I don't want you to think, because unlike yourself, I have a Switch, so I don't want you to. I gotta show. I gotta throw guard.
I gotta throw the shot. You did
bang. Street gang early. Get low. So I had to let you know that I actually have a Switch, so I can actually talk on what's good and what's not, because I actually touch.
Are you actually using it though?
No, but you using it?
Are you using it though?
No, I'm not. Actually, I'm not. That's what happens when you own it.
Okay, there you go.
That's what happens when you own it. But you're giving me secondhand usage. Let me talk about from firsthand experience. All right. So let me give you firsthand experience, because you are a prospective purchaser. You're going to the store. So let me give you some background on it.
The games that we have, I purchased because those are my games.
Right, but it's still not yours. So let's get to the part of the ownership. We're gonna talk. This is the ownership part. All right.
He says ownership, but he's like, look at this fancy thing I bought. I'm gonna put it right on the
right. No. You know what happens? It's not fancy. Cut it out. No, but my
Switch slander begins.
My kids play it though. My kids play it, and my kids actually know.
You're not really getting firsthand usage, it's secondhand.
No,
because the kids are using it more than you are.
They definitely are, but they know who owns it.
You gotta stop throwing the ownership,
because you know when you walk in the room,
I'm just saying.
Cognito, you know when you walk in the room, somebody playing your stuff, you can walk over and be like, "Thank you." Enough. Your fun time is over.
Snatch it from your hand.
Why you gotta grab the Switch away from
No saving, no nothing. Just give me the Switch.
It's a perpetual fear of they walking in the room and saying, "Stop that! Give me that." All right. So not to get to that, but I do think that game looks very nice. And,
hey, even the chat saying your Switch is on the closet over there on the case.
Yo, they see it right there in the bushes. It's in the bushes right over there. No, but
continue.
Go ahead, continue.
Continue, buddy. I am sorry. Yeah, you are being attacked just for your love.
Hey, it's okay. I'm holding.
You know now, Bloody. Now you understand what me and Soft go. I'm glad you are here. Continue.
Hey, but here's the thing. I can hold myself.
That's right.
There it is. You're gonna have to hold yourself, because it's about to get it hot in here.
so finish.
Hey, don't worry. I got the water bucket for you, man.
So finish up as far as those are the stuff that really impressed you, but also in conjunction to the overall picture for 2019 with this lineup. Do you feel that the Switch is poised to dominate NPD the way they did in 2018 over Xbox and PlayStation?
Absolutely. They have. Here's the thing. They have their first party lineup. See, while 2018 was a little bit, dry throughout the year up until the end when they had, Smash Brothers come out, which absolutely sold consoles. That game was hard to get. You couldn't find adapters for the GameCube controllers for anyone.
Spider-Man is the number one game of
but
thank you.
It completely pushed Switch sales. Absolutely, that game did numbers for Nintendo, because we knew it was. They had a slower year, but like 2017 when they came out the gate with Odyssey, when they came out the gate with of course Zelda and all their strong first party lineup, it showed. 2018 not as strong, but still they had a lot of the third party. They were starting to get third party support, and they had the indies that were really big throughout the year. This year they have a lot more coming out of their first party again. And that's going to show because of the fact that you saw a game like Super Mario Maker. You have Fire Emblem, you have Yoshi, but of course you have the big things that people are waiting for. They have the Pokemon RPG that a lot of people want. They don't want the Pokemon Light like they got with Let's Go Pikachu, like they got with Let's Go Eevee. While that helped to sell and push for the mobile market to buy a Switch, it wasn't selling anyone on an actual Switch themselves, except for those people. But now they're actually getting a full dedicated Pokemon game. They're getting there's already still the talks of a new Animal Planet that's still supposed to be coming out, or Animal Crossing. Yeah, Animal Crossing. And I loved Animal Crossing. I love Animal Crossing. I played on the GameCube. I had it on the Wii. I had it on the DS, the 3DS. I played, Pocket Camp. Animal Crossing is absolutely one of the games that I'm looking forward to that's coming out. It does. It really does have a huge following. And, those are games that are going to help push this for that, as well as Luigi's Mansion 3. Well, Luigi's Mansion has always been one of those hit or miss for some people. It still has that following, and it's one of those strong first-party games that will help pull people. So their first-party lineup is really set to show what the Switch has coming for this year, especially after this Nintendo Direct.
No doubt, man. So I was so salty with solving a cog so far. Lord Addict. How have you been feeling about that Nintendo Switch Direct? What did you see? Anything that caught your attention? And then obviously the bigger overall question, do you think Switch is poised to dominate 2019 all over again?
I think the Direct was a good Direct. I think that's... I don't know if Pokemon's going to do again what Pokemon did last year. Between Pokemon and Super Smash Brothers, I think that's what made it go over the Spider-Man sales. If Animal Crossing comes out this year, they'll outsell everything. As of right now, they got a lot of good games, but I don't know if they have any Switch seller games.
Really? Okay, so the Pokemon, go ahead, Soft.
That's one thing I was gonna say is like a lot of their first party lineup, not all of it, but a lot of it are system seller type games. Like Mario Maker, you're getting a bundle with that.
Yes.
Zelda, I'm sure they'll try to find some sort of way of it. I don't know how big
they're gonna finesse. They're gonna finesse
because I don't think it's a 1-to-1 remake. I think they're expanding on that game. That game was pretty. I mean, it was long, but it to me, they're gonna do something else with that game.
If Animal Crossing comes out this year, I would say
that's a bundle.
They might double some of these console owners.
Yeah,
because Animal Crossing is probably one of their biggest IPs.
It really is. Anyone who denies that is kidding themselves. While we can look at Animal Crossing and say, who would play this game, Animal Crossing has one of the biggest followings since it premiered on the GameCube.
The question is
look at King Power.
I just know as of right now.
He's over there getting ready.
As of right now, just off what we know, we don't know if Luigi's Mansion's coming out this year yet. I don't go until I see like a solid release date, like something like a time frame. The fact that we might see some Luigi's Mansion at E3 depends on what they do with Pokemon. Now they could give us that the hard RPG that they say they are, or they can look at the sales they made off Pokemon Go, Let's Go, and be like, we're going to do that too here too. And Nintendo will do that if they see money in it.
And we're just talking about software. We're not even taking into consideration the fact that if that smaller console is true, the mini, if that is true,
well, the mini is true because a lot of their games have been walking away from that motion crap.
Yeah, the mini I've heard is confirmed.
If Animal Crossing comes out this year, I can totally see them outselling. If it doesn't, they still can, because I do think Link to the Past, that's gonna sell stuff.
If they did a Link to the Past remake, I would be throwing my money so fast because Link to the Past is still the greatest Zelda for me of all time.
But they already have the Zelda that's already going to be coming out this year.
Yeah.
So Addict, you actually agree.
It just depends. I don't, as of stuff that's right now.
Yes,
I don't see it happening unless Animal Crossing comes out this year.
All right. So
now Animal Crossing, I'd give it like a 50% chance.
It's confirmed. It's confirmed as a fall release. I have the article right now. Confirmed. Animal Crossing.
He got all the articles.
I mean,
He got all the articles.
You know,
King
you research.
King over there being shady. He's like, he's got the Nintendo news on a tab.
You know,
He knows
listen,
all
he
of it.
knows,
He's got it
man.
all saved.
He has Reggie Fils-Aimé's direct line, bruh.
all I'm saying is they just recently announced Animal Crossing. I don't see it out this year.
No, listen, bro. I'm literally having it.
Listen,
It's a release date.
No, not a. It says fall.
Fall. There's so
Oh,
much
listen,
stuff that says
listen.
fall that gets pushed back.
Oh, God, all of a
It
sudden.
could. No, it could. I mean, that's not wrong.
I would have announced
you
it like
compare-
2 years ago. I'd be like, yeah, we've only seen that game one time. We didn't even see gameplay, I don't think.
So for the 4 that is supposedly, I'll say supposedly announced for fall, Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion 3, Pokemon, the standard Pokemon RPG, and Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake. Those are supposed to be fall releases for this year.
I give
But again, anything can
but I'm not going to give them Animal Crossing till I see a more defined date because all the other ones, Link's Awakening, I don't see them having an issue with any kind of development time with that one. But we've only seen Animal Crossing one time. We've seen Luigi's Mansion once, but it was a good amount of time ago.
No doubt. So your thing is if Animal Crossing,
If Animal Crossing
there,
comes out, 100% chance they outsell everything. If it doesn't, 50% chance.
I think
I can respect that. I can respect that.
I can respect that.
You know why? And this will go into my topic a little bit, but Shawn Layden was kind of clear in his interview that they kind of don't have much to talk about other than stuff that they've already talked about this year.
I got some words about Shawn Layden right now.
Thank you, Mads. Thank you so much.
Mods gave it. This is our brother, man, Polish brother. He said, $10 super chat. If the Big N releases Switch Mini, he may get it.
That's
Switch
right.
game.
That's right. Tell him how much money you willing to spend, how much you willing not to spend. Tell him you are not willing to give them that $300, but that $200 is fine.
Hey, Matt, much
The thing that isn't hurting them like your average game this year is the third party kind of weak right now.
Yo, stop!
So,
let me go.
Right,
Release
King.
me,
All right,
man.
all right.
David getting all antsy over there.
King's been charging up.
Release the
Hold on,
beast.
let me finish this though. Let me finish.
All right,
Nah, could you go into my topic?
The
Nah,
third
you
party
talked already.
multiplats, like this year, normally that would hurt Switch because they're not getting the metros and stuff. But
They got Mortal Kombat 11.
This
God,
let me
there.
lose.
But,
That's the biggest. That's one of the
this year-
biggest third parties of this year. Mortal Kombat
this
11.
year, like
Okay.
King over there, like y'all go make me lose my mind.
Stop
Up
it.
in here, up
Can I
in
talk?
here.
All right.
He's losing his mind. He's getting pumped up over there.
King is up.
The third party in general is just not that strong. Like,
Bruh.
so it's not going to hurt them as much when these games don't come out for their console. 'Cause
Bruh.
King
Bring
is
my
up.
head up, bro.
He's so
King
mad.
is gone.
He's so
If you
hyped.
sat there, you went Love Fest. We're gonna stop this now.
Go ahead, King.
All right,
I
now,
mean, just
first of
because
all,
I'm being real, I don't think the Switch is going to.
I think you being real phony. I think you being real phony. You talk about real. I think you being real phony.
King's just mad. He thought he was gonna be on his side. I knew from the
Nah,
jump he wasn't gonna be on your side. Not today.
Yo, first, okay, let me tell you. One, I knew Attic wasn't gonna be on my side simply because they said Animal Crossing and they said Pokemon. There you go. I lost my dude right there. That's where. Listen, that's where I
enough to
lost
not
my
realize
dude.
they got a following.
Yeah, they do, and you down for that? All right, so
What
hear
else
that?
coming up for Xbox is going to sell units?
It ain't coming no damn Xbox. Get out of here. So, but I see this right. I love the direct. I loved it.
Wow.
I said, you know what I really like about directs? I like that they're really direct. They're really about this. They do it very nice. They control the narrative. It's fantastic. They showed you all the stuff that nobody else is gonna have. They stuff, exclusive stuff, and they also showed you the time frame that they was putting the games in, the summertime. But what they didn't show you was they damn sure didn't show you Apex or Anthem or anything else that's on these big guys. So they showed you little boy stuff. So they said, hey, check this out. Being that you can't play all that great stuff like Metro, how about you come and play? Did you see the Assassin's Creed?
At this point,
it was
Assassin's Creed looked bad. It was horrible. It was bad.
At this point, I would say that
Hellblade look good though. Hellblade look
at
alright.
this point, I would say the majority of people that would be buying a Switch this year already have another console. Or
All right,
PC
you're gonna say that,
Yeah.
right? But I'm gonna say this. Y'all not talking about the bad stuff that was on that screen. Like y'all are not saying it. Like
It
y'all
doesn't
saying
matter how much
because
Y'all
the
like,
Switch,
Cognito
the Switch is on its own island. All that stuff is irrelevant to the
these
Switch.
apologists.
No.
The fact
It's just
that-
irrelevant.
the
If you're
fact
gonna
that they're
tell me
getting it
that the
is the
fact
big
they're not
point.
getting, if you're gonna tell me that the fact that they're not getting Apex Legends or they're not getting Anthem is really gonna hurt them, then you're lying.
No,
That's not true.
listen. I actually think they're gonna outsell what they did before. Like, listen to me. This is what I'm talking about. The Kool-Aid is being drunk, and all right. Listen, they are handing out Kool-Aid by the bucket, and people are drinking it. But I understand this fact: the times that they're dropping games is when there is a desert for video games. Now, at this point, Sony is closing down.
Spin.
Right? No.
There is no desert for video games anymore. We just got Kingdom Hearts and Resident Evil
in the summertime is when there's really no games being dropped, but they're dropping games in the summertime. Summer is gonna be lit for the Switch.
To be fair, Soft, I have to agree with David on this one. Is that no. To be fair, big releases. Especially for all the big consoles, summertime is literally the most dry because now we're seeing the fall and winter season always been the big seller. Now we're starting to see some of the early spring.
I'm trying to go, but here's the counter. Last year, right, when they kind of were predicting this huge fiscal year and it wasn't kind of happening, and until the very end in December,
but they knew what games they was doing, bro.
It's because Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, that was a smash.
Let's not act like it was the summer that won them and dominated.
No, I didn't say that. No,
I would say
year,
a good amount of people that bought a Switch last year had in mind that Smash was coming out in December.
Yeah. But this year is going to be a little bit
They don't
different.
have that domino effect this year. But if Animal Crossing comes out, I'm telling you, it's going to be a similar result.
There's no real exclusives coming for the other two.
Okay.
So, these guys actually
third parties that's out either. So,
that's debatable.
Hey, right here for you.
But
Here for you,
at
David.
the end of the day, there's not a third party that's like you see, oh, that's a game of the year. We haven't not even one announced. There's not that juggernaut that's coming out this year.
True. But then that Zelda. What sealed the deal for me was that Zelda. When I saw it, because that came out of the blue, that this isn't what Nintendo is known for. This season opportunities, stuff that they used to let slide before. They're actually grabbing these opportunities and they're actually putting games and putting butts and hands on controllers. I feel it. I feel what they're doing. I understand what they're doing. I respect what they're doing. I'm only gonna play the games that are real exclusive games that I like. Now, y'all, I know you said that chain game. I got to see more on it. It looked nice.
I'm not a big Playtron,
but y'all gonna act like it wasn't warts in that direct, and it was warts in that direct.
I wasn't like on that Kool-Aid like you guys were when you saw that game. I saw that, I was like, it's made by them though.
Don't give me that because it looks better than Scalebound looked. That's for sure.
Everything looked better than
Whoa. Oh, now people got reviews.
Platinum Games is on that. I make one good game, I make 4 shit games. They have not made 4 shit games yet.
I mean,
that game looked like the best joint they've dropped in like 3 or 4 years. That game?
That game was going to be a good game if they had worked on it.
I'm going to raise you. They're also making Bayonetta 3.
I don't care what they're
making 2 other projects.
Hey, wait. I'm not gonna lie though. That Bayonetta 3, I'm all for Bayonetta because girl,
they keep splitting their forces in 4 different ways.
Like, and that's the word. And that's what hurts a lot of companies is that they do too many projects
at 4 games right now. They're not that big.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Also, right now for all you guys right here, I got a little joke for y'all. This is what Nintendo is saying with all the games that they were showing off, especially showing that summer release. Right? They're saying this right here. They're saying, "I want you." Look at that. I want you right now. That's what they want you to do. They want you to go out and buy that Switch.
Bro, they not. Shout out to Mads. They not buying until they drop it to $200. Drop that price. Get off that price. They still got Wii U's out there for $500. Man, Nintendo, stop playing.
So
yeah. To be fair though, it does need to go. It does need to go down a little bit.
So are you there?
Yep. You hear me?
Yeah. What's up, man? What do you feel about this
tag team back again? Here they come.
What do you feel about
the Yin Yang twins up in here?
Oh no.
set to dominate once again? Are we
Look at this guy.
It's easy. Like I said, like we from Sony's part, we honestly may only get Days Gone and Dreams this year. Maybe. That's a real possibility.
I've been told like 99% chance Ghost is coming this year.
Okay. Wow. So that was much further along than we thought. Right.
Well, that's a talking point, but it hasn't been confirmed. Although I wouldn't put it past Sucker Punch, and I'm really looking forward to that game because Sucker Punch does have I really do enjoy a lot of what they did. People really don't know all the true history of Sucker Punch. They only know them for Infamous, but people forgot they also did the Sly Cooper series way back in the day.
Yes, sir. Good.
And then same with Microsoft. We haven't really heard anything specific about what's coming this year. Yeah. A lot of that new stuff probably not seeing until the next gen. So yeah, this is a prime time for them to dominate if they have something big.
But I can't. We can't knock Microsoft just yet. I mean, definitely they are prepping for the next generation, but we got to see what we got. We got to see what they show off.
What happens if they pull a wild card and the next Xbox comes out holiday this year?
No. If they did that, it's gonna be. But I say it's way too early for them to do that. I've been saying it, and I stand by that. 2021 is the year that it's gonna come out.
No, I think it's coming out next year.
Now, if 2017 was a mid-gen refresh and that was 4 years, you gotta look 3 to 4 years out. 2021 is going to be the perfect time. Yeah, it may become
matter 21 for who?
It doesn't matter what the mid refresh. If Sony's coming out next year, they're coming out next year. They're not giving you the year.
Wait, Bloody. You trying to get your knees chopped off again? You trying to go in again?
Hey, if I'm already on my knees, can I really bend it? I'm just saying, if I'm already on them, can I really
pulling knees over here, and I ain't got a problem with getting more knees. Because when you grow back the pair that I take, I'm gonna take another pair.
You take knees, I take scalps. I'm just
saying. So you ain't got no scalps. I don't see no scalps over here, but I got some knees over here. So all right,
why are we letting the sociopath on the podcast?
So let me ask you a question, Bloody, because I heard a bit. You believe that Microsoft will wait a whole year and let Sony come out? And you think if Sony comes out next year, Microsoft is going to come out in 2021?
Here's the thing, right? And I'm gonna point this at you because of the fact that I'm gonna
I just want a yes or no. I don't need a paragraph.
They're gonna wait, and there's a good reason, right? Because right now, Sony, while they have these 2 games coming out, they haven't said or have anything that they could say is going to come out for the next console, even for the next generation. If they come out next year, what the hell are they going to put out for it?
Bloody.
They have to. They have to have a launch. They have to have a launch lineup. And if they don't have anything,
they're going to do exactly.
They're going to do a cross. They're going to do
come out of this. I want him to.
They're going to have what they're going to do. What they're going to do is they're either going to do cross-gen games like we did from the 360 and the PS3 era into the current generation, like we saw with games like that, or they're gonna have to go back with remasters.
Okay, cool. Let's check it out. What's up with these knees, though?
You keep talking about knees, but you're not giving me facts back.
Okay. Listen. My take is that Microsoft will not allow them to launch, and then they don't launch in the same year, if not the same month or week in which they release. So your take is that they will actually allow them to drop, and they will come next year. So my thing is, I want your knees because you have talked yourself into this corner, and I want to know if you will stand behind your conviction.
I will stand by this because I believe it. Because here's the thing. They can launch as early as they want. If they don't have anything, yeah, they can get the early sales. But if Microsoft comes out with a console and has a strong lineup, those early sales are going to flip-flop and go for something that actually appeals to them.
All right, let's move on.
Back to the Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
I keep getting these.
Look, you can take one knee come April, and then we'll talk about the other knee later.
You on the sovereign tip.
You finished up with your joke? Because I got to jump in, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, everything else like they got announced. Like, there's certain things that I know are gonna just sell better on the Switch. That Bloodstained Ritual of Night is gonna sell best on the Switch.
Yes.
what was the other thing? The Deltarune thing, the Undertale thing, which is free. That's cool. Oh, another thing that people haven't really talked about, but is actually very good, is that damn free Tetris 99, that Tetris Battle Royale. That actually works.
That made me laugh, right? That Tetris Battle Royale.
Yeah.
And I got in there, and it works. And a lot of people. I mean, Tetris is. Tetris.
I was hating, but Ebontis showed me and his wife's playing it.
Wow.
They
and people are really, really playing that game.
Free.
To be fair, it's Tetris, man. Tetris is always Tetris.
Tetris is the perfect game. And then a little disappointing was the Final Fantasy stuff, because the version of 9 that actually came out that same day is just the old iOS version, which never was great to begin with. But it's there. So I don't know. That's that.
Yeah, for me, Switch gang, stand up. I'm telling y'all, man. Like, I don't want to get too gassed, but I think they got another one, man. I think they got another one. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I had low expectations for this direct, and in my opinion, this was E3 level. Like, they had classic Reimagined. They had popular franchises, exclusive bangers. For me personally, once I saw Marvel Ultimate Alliance with Captain Marvel and the Defenders in it, I seen Iron Fist, Daredevil, the whole thing, drop in, drop out, co-op, the online, you know what I'm saying? And it's made by Team Ninja.
Yeah.
Bro. So I was like, okay, they want me on that off alone. I didn't even have to watch the show no more. That was just my personal selfish game of only playing Marvel Alliance. Then they got the Dragon Quest 11. You know what I'm saying? With all those Switch exclusives that look fire. You already know how I feel about Starlink. They had the DLC with all that stuff. They got Fire Emblem. I'm calling Fire Emblem Harry Potter edition. They all part of the joint, but it's traditional. Because I really don't like the other emblems. That's kind of like the Dynasty Warrior. I ain't really like that one. You know what I'm saying? And then what's that Square Enix game with the souls and the dead and it's going back and forth? It got a name with an O in it. I forget the name. That game looked really cool. So,
I skipped it on that.
Yeah, me and you were talking about it. I
don't like the fact that they went I don't like the fact that they went away from what they done. Like, they're completely trying new stuff now.
I'm all for Square Enix trying to do something different. I'm looking forward to the.
It's Square Enix is just publishing it.
Yeah,
it's the same people who made man, what's that game?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for it. Like, I'm looking forward to the new games that they got coming out next month.
I just want a Bravery Default collection. That's all I care about.
Oh yeah, Bravely Default that we need.
BloodiKnucklez looks like the next Octopath Traveler. Okay, all right. But for me, right now, as it stands right now, my most anticipated game is that Astral Chain by Platinum Games on the Switch. Yo, that journey like anime, cyberpunk looking city, Cold Vein, a little Akira motorcycle action, going on. Then they had the dual player mechanics with the weird mystical chick, bruh. That look crazy to me. Then here's, I'm gonna let you get in, Bloody, but here's the thing: they got the dude from Bayonetta on it, and they got the director that's going to direct the dude from Nier Automata on it. Like, they've got A+ talent on this game, and it's coming out this year summer. Beyond hype, you know what I'm saying? And we all know these are releases now. We still got 3 on deck. As long as they don't fumble the ball, like, because in my opinion, they fumbled the ball last year. I know Smash was Smash, and I just didn't need a Smash direct at E3. You know what I'm saying?
To be fair,
I think you're going to get a Smash Direct at E3. 100% think. If Animal Crossing comes out this year, I can almost guarantee you that whole thing's going to be dedicated to Animal Crossing.
If they do it, they'll still win. I just personally hope that they show a little bit more that's in their bag as far as the heavy hitters, not just do a whole Pokemon Direct. You know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day, they do these a lot, so they don't need to show all their bag ever.
No,
like,
but here's the thing about that, right? Yeah, they do a lot of these, but typically here's what a Nintendo Direct looks like, right? It's 30 minutes long. You have 25 minutes of fluff and bullshit that comes out from them the whole time, and then the last 5 minutes is something that completely blows everyone away. I agree with Cognito. This one, no,
good, and they end it with something good.
They don't always even open it with something good. Typically,
almost a lot of the directs they've opened with good stuff. They opened with Luigi's Mansion. They opened with what did they open with this time? They opened with something good this time too.
I can't remember off top, but I mean, listen. At the end of the day, you know, they can choose to do a breakdown of Pokemon. I'm not gonna like it. I know there's gonna be a ton of people that do because people want that Pokemon RPG. I still feel they got a lot in the chamber that they can still release, and I think they could dominate this thing all over again, man. That's just me personally, but Astral Train is my #1 anticipated game of 2019. That's how amazing that game looks to me.
That game will be coming out this year.
Yeah, it's coming out. They said it's coming out.
Throw hate on
Yo,
that.
every game that you said, he was like, "Nah, it ain't coming."
I'm willing to bet you that game ain't coming out.
I have a strong.
Yo, come out, buddy, come out.
And the knee return.
I'm gonna add it because I haven't done one.
Look, we got to get going anyway.
Oh.
Well, I got to leave in 15 minutes. We haven't even talked about Crackdown.
All right, so let's get to Crackdown. Since I'm done.
Did you get to the knees first?
I would like the knees, but he don't seem to.
Hey, look! By the end of it, you're gonna have so many knees. You're gonna have to switch up to elbows. Right, apparently,
so we're gonna move on because Addict don't want that right now.
Oh.
Addict, you are up. Crackdown 3, the aftermath in these gaming streets. What's going on?
All right, so for those of you that know, Crackdown came out last Friday. There's blood in the streets. That blood is Crackdown's blood. And it's been drowned. I think Crackdown's trying to play 99 Ways to Die.
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, who here has played it? Did you like it?
Yeah.
Do you think it justifies the 4, 5, 6 out of 10s?
You ready?
Okay, King.
All right, now the hell with anybody that sits there and will talk bad about the game. Let's talk about the single player experience first, because that multiplayer stuff, that was some add-on crap that they got locked in. That's a weird story within itself. But that single player, put up any one of those first 2 Crackdowns, put it up against it. The game looks better, it runs better, has better population, has better aiming, better shooting. The verticality in the game is ridiculous. The collectibles is there. The game is a Crackdown game. The story is fantastic. The enemies is fun. The game is fun. The game is exactly what they said it was going to be, and it's 4K 30. So if somebody's sitting out there talking crap about it, either they don't have a X or they don't have a 4K television. My thing to you is to step your game up, get your stuff together before you come for the game. Because y'all sitting there playing it on inferior stuff, and y'all talk about it don't look like it. Of course, it's gonna look like the old stuff because you got the old stuff. Get the new stuff so you can see what the new stuff do. Y'all not gonna sit and keep going at this game like it's crap. This game is definitely certified hot. And if you don't have a Game Pass, that's your fault. That you got to pay full price.
Yo. Well, Lord Cognito, let me ask Lord King Day, King. Yeah. Is this King approved? Is this Iron Lord King approved?
Certified 1%.
Hey, and they don't need to be paying full price. If people actually paid attention to anything that's going on, it's on the damn dashboard. You can get 2 months for $2. What are you doing?
All right, so
you paying $2 for that game.
I just want to clarify King's statement so that we're all clear. The game is hot.
Fire.
Hot fire. Skyline hot fire.
Hot fire.
Hot fire. You gotta stop. One of the top 5 games of all time. That's Crackdown 3.
Hey, chat. Put some fires in the chat there for King David. Put some fires in the chat.
Gamers can't experience the way it's intended is the gamer's fault because they are broke and they cannot afford to see it.
You know what, Cog?
Just want to make sure we're clear.
Yo, Cog, I'm definitely going at those broke gamers out here talking mad crap. Like if you actually got the game and you got a 4K television and you're going to put it up against something else, you're going to tell me it don't look better than that other game? I don't want to hear what you're talking about, bro. If you're sitting there playing on a simple, you got an S, you run around here on a simple,
so
what come at me if you're playing on
what
the
you're saying. What you're saying is because people haven't been premium enough to enjoy Crackdown.
That's
to
right.
Its fullest.
Why are you playing? I don't want to hear it. It's 4K. It's 4K.
Have you beat it?
Yeah, no, I haven't. But you can look at me.
Have you even booted it up?
Yes, you see me playing it. Stop fronting on me. Stop fronting on me. I know you haven't played it on an X.
Okay, but I beat the game.
I actually go extra bougie.
How did you like it though? How's the graphics though?
It's a fun game.
Okay, now everybody talking about the multiplayer.
I can't use the word fire.
It's hot fire. It's hot fire.
Yo, you gotta stop saying hot fire, man.
No, keep saying it, King.
It's hot fire. Now listen, the multiplayer, that multiplayer, right? Now they said that it's gonna be fully destructible, and that's exactly what they did. They did not tell you that it was gonna be solid concrete or paper mache. All right, so it's not false advertising. It's fully destructible. Now,
I got a question.
Listen, and they didn't tell you that they said you can play with your friends. Hey, if you can find them, you can play with them.
What you're saying is they did the bait and switch with the sly talking.
Listen, they
Switch King, you are continuing.
Yeah, listen, yo, Cog, you knew something was up when you downloaded it, and they said, "Here's the main game, and here's the other download." We are not associated with this over here.
Are you saying here's the light side of the force and here's the dark side?
Yo, when I saw it was 2 downloads, I was looking like, what the hell is going on? Right? So I'm talking to Bone and Chris in the chat, and they was like, yeah, it's 2. I said, why is the hell is it 2? So I'm playing the first one. I'm like, yo, it's crazy. This is nuts. This is fantastic. It looks amazing. Oh, this QLED. This is, oh my God. Like, they don't know what's going on my side. I'm just going crazy over the game.
What you don't know is King bought a new house with that check Microsoft sent him for this.
Yo, listen. I don't care. Phil did his job. I'm glad Phil didn't kill the game because I played the game before and it looked like crap before, and it actually looks good now. So then when I put in the multiplayer, I said, oh, I see why it's a separate damn download. I said, but they never lied to you and said it's going to be real concrete that you're going to be shooting. It was paper mache, dog.
Okay,
like when you run through the wall, it's like it's no wall really there.
I got a question for you, King. I got a question.
Go for it.
All right. Is this Game Pass Crackdown or is this pay $60 Crackdown?
Yo, on the real?
Oh, here's the divert.
No. Listen. No. Okay, first I'm gonna answer your question. Yes, it's $60. Right? No. Listen. Let me.
You got Aaron Greenberg in the corner with a gun on him. That's
listen. Let me answer your questions. Let me answer your questions.
I have to pull this up right here.
Y'all keep acting like Crackdown was always this beautiful girl.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all keep acting like that game was always A+ top flight game. It never was. It was always associated with something. Now it's associated with Game Pass.
True.
It was never on its own. It never had feet by itself. It always had some sneakers on to help it move. It always had Halo or something like that to push it forward. Right, it always did. It was never ever able to stand.
Eventually, little kids with training wheels take them off eventually. Right, about the training wheels.
Right, but y'all made this game into something that it's not. Y'all keep talking like it's an A1 AAA title. It's not. It never was.
No one saying this game's amazing, but I'm not saying
I am. It's fire. It's fire.
Hey, can you do me a favor? We put up that fraud alert, please.
Yo, you need a red fraud alert for. Oh, we got BRAP in the bill. BRAP, get some common sense in here, please.
There's no common sense to go. He knows it's not.
Let me talk about Crackdown because I have to leave here in about 10 minutes.
We get BRAP because BRAP.
Crackdown. Look, I am not condoning people giving this game a 4 or 5. I think a 6 or 7 is fair. I'm leaning more towards 7. But at the end of the day, I am not against people docking this because it didn't evolve from a Crackdown franchise, because it didn't. But I'm not going to dock it because it plays like Crackdown.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, look at franchises that did change stuff up drastically to try to bring in a new audience that didn't really look at their core audience that liked the old Crackdown. Look at Halo. People love Halo 5. It reviewed well, but the actual diehard Halo fans are like, this don't feel like Halo.
Mm-hmm.
Gears, same thing. People say this don't feel like Gears.
Well, people said that Gears 4 felt too much like Gears. They didn't try to reinvent themselves. Like each game iterated on itself a little bit.
These gamers are fickle and they full of crap.
Yeah, they are.
But I'm telling you, 90% of these dudes are not playing on no 4K television, and they don't have.
Hey, no. To be fair, I agree with. To be fair, King is right because of the fact that there's no excuse not to have 4K TV in 2019. Hey, no. They can go out right now. Everyone's still playing on that 1080p. They need to shut the hell up, go down to the Walmart and go get that $200 4K TCL, right? They can trade in that TV, get $20 and still get 10% off that.
That's
4K.
right. And go get that X, and then you can play the hot fire like me.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you that 4K 30 frames per second HDR looks nice, but that is still in the bushes. If you can, you play it on that PC.
I can't talk to you.
No, you play it on that PC running at
you don't understand. He's doing that Bird Box challenge every time he plays the game. He's not looking at it. He's not looking at it. It's so beautiful.
Is that game just as in the bushes?
That game, you need to play that game at 60. I don't know why they didn't give the option for a 1080 60 on that game.
I feel you,
that game is all about the locomotion.
I feel you, Soft.
And that frame rate is still not great on that X. It looks pretty. The HDR is fantastic, but play it on that PC.
I want the world to know right now, right? When we at PAX and all of us got our laptops, our high power laptops and our Xbox controllers, what game we gonna be playing? And y'all gonna look, because we're gonna have a camera, and y'all gonna see us all playing Crackdown, and y'all gonna say, "Oh no."
I'm not I.
No.
Remember, I'm gonna have a camera there.
All right, we got a special guest for this topic. Lord BRAP of the Basement Radio Podcast. Enrique, are you there, sir?
I am here. I heard Dylon's name come up. I was like, I need to come in.
One second. Shout out to the 80 people in here.
The 80 people that
like button.
Like y'all. We having fun today. Lord BRAP, there's been a lot of talk about Crackdown, as much as people saying hot fire. So, Lord BRAP, what's your experience with the Crackdown game and just the aftermath of the launch? Where are you at with this whole situation?
All right. So I'm never going to disparage anyone for liking this game, because if you like it, that's great. You have fun with it. That's no, I mean, seriously, like
anyone that starts a conversation like that's into some bullshit.
No, because I don't want anyone to think that because I think what happens a lot of the times is if a reviewer again, and I see this a lot, like Ryan McCaffrey had to come out and explain to people, look, if we say a game is mediocre, it's okay. Like, it doesn't mean that you're not going to like it or that you can't like it. And I feel like a lot of the times people get so wrapped up into the score and what numerical value the game got, and it's like, no one's saying that if a game scores bad that you can't like it. Look, I love Rise. Rise is actually one of my favorite Xbox exclusive games,
and it has a great story for history fans.
Yeah, look, and I love Roman history. I love Gladiator. I love Roman. Give me anything in a Roman setting, I am buying it. Like, that's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And so. I think that a lot of times people get so wrapped up, and it's like, no one's saying that you can't enjoy this. But what I will say is, I got a review code of the game from Microsoft, and big shout out to Aaron, because he hooked me up, and I really appreciate it. And so I got to play it, and like, I hear everyone say, "Oh, it's Crackdown. What do you expect?" I'm like, yeah, okay, it is Crackdown, but this is Crackdown. The Crackdown that I experienced in 2007 worked back in 2007. I just don't feel like it works well in 2019.
So you don't like the jumping they add to it?
But people also got to take into account of the issues that this game went through, right?
It's like I said, look, you can dock it for not evolving to that 2000, the new age of gamers. But I feel like people are docking it for it not evolving and it playing like Crackdown. People expected a different experience. Like, at the end of the day, I'm having a blast playing this game. There's no way that you can't objectively look at this game and give it a 4 out of 10. It's just no way.
When I think 3 and 4 out of 10, I think broken game.
Like, I think 5 is way too low too. Like 6, I get it. 6,
okay,
7,
but 6 is kind of iffy, but 7 definitely. I would say a 7.5 because the game, what it does well, it does well. Yes, it didn't evolve.
And you know what's funny? If you read some of these reviews, people are like, I had a blast. They literally say in there, I enjoyed playing the game, and they're like 5 out of 10.
But,
what?
Wait. But with IGN explained that for them, a 5 is a mediocre game, and it's like this. And I look at it like
Call of Duty 8 out of 10 every year.
Okay, but that's that's your opinion. You may not agree with them, and that's fine. We don't have to agree with the scores, but but they did come out and say, look, 5 is a mediocre game for us. It doesn't mean you can't like it. It doesn't mean that that we haven't played games that are
higher
fives. That
review score, man. Fam, come on, man.
I mean, but we're not talking about Jump Force. We're talking about Crackdown. Like we got like as a community, we got to stop. Like, oh, but that game did this. That's so counterproductive. Like it doesn't move the conversation anywhere. My point is this: like we and I think gamers need to understand something. Like we all enjoy things that are average or mediocre. We do it in every aspect of our life. How many of us go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac and like, right?
Yep.
Now, would you say a Big Mac is the premier meal? Would you rate a Big Mac a 9?
It's mediocre. BRAP, and I want to go after you on something too.
Yeah, Bloody, you go after BRAP. But go ahead, BRAP. For the
I'm saying, but a Big Mac is mediocre, but it's okay. You enjoyed it. You still liked it, but you're not going to say that a Big Mac is better than something from Shake Shack or something.
Like
or
BRAP,
something
they
from,
walk out, they be like, it's hot fire though, because they liked it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But it's okay. And so with Crackdown, like when I was playing it, yeah, I had fun with it, but I also hit a wall. Like after like 2 hours of playing, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It's too repetitive. It's not as good as other things that I've experienced more recently in the same genre. For Crackdown, yeah, it's Crackdown, but me personally, I would have loved to see the game evolve a little bit. I understand it had development issues. I felt like with Terry Crews, they kind of missed an opportunity to make this. Yeah, like when Terry Crews comes in and he's like, and I'm hyped.
I'm hyped.
Like he's talking to me like a coach. Like I'm ready to go out and play the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's like they missed an opportunity to go from mediocre, average to great, because you see the foundation there and you see the potential that this thing could even be more. Again, not that the core game is bad, it just hasn't evolved, right?
It just hasn't, like they keep treating it like this. It came out as a B tier game, right? Yes. But when you look at what do they lack in, right? What is Microsoft really lacking in, right? A third person character action game, which is what Sony thrives on. They have the framework here to make what is ostensibly a great superhero game, and they did not do that.
Sovereign, do you think it's our problem and not theirs? Like the expectations that is laid upon the game, like you said, it came out as a B tier title, right?
Right.
Is it not living up to its B tier name?
Oh, absolutely. And Full Force is living up to it. But my feeling is
warranted.
But the thing is, why does it have to be that?
Right.
And why does it have to be that? When Phil Spencer says it's Crackdown, I'm like, okay, you act like you don't own Crackdown. You act like you're not the ones that can change that narrative, right? And it feels like you don't want to change it. Like,
when God of War came out, right? I hated the fact that it switched over to what it did. Like I like the
isometric.
Yes, I love the originals. I love that the feel of the button mashing, the simplicity, just the mindless fun of it. I love that. The sky. I just love the game. When I got the new God of War, everybody's raving over it, but they didn't understand my frustration with it.
I hated the combat. It.
But I love this Crackdown because I love the Crackdown for what it is. Now, they gave me the extra boost button because it feels like, what's that other game from Microsoft with the girl in Recore? It feels like Recore. I actually was probably one of the few people that really love Recore.
I liked Recore. It felt like old school.
I think I'm like one of the only people on the earth that beat Recore.
Right.
The bushes for me.
I know, see, and this is what I'm saying. We got to a point where the expectation for the game, they were acting like this game was supposed to be game of the year. Like it was supposed to be the new Halo.
Look, my issue with it is this community went from, waiting for review scores to putting that shit on their calendar because they want to talk shit about it.
Yeah.
It's like at the end of the day, I never validate wanting a game to fail.
Right.
Some people are looking at Crackdown as an opportunity. Let's
and what's funny is Kid Smooth hit me and he was like, why didn't you make a Crackdown video? I was like, because I'm not going to cash in on that. Like, at the end of the day, like everyone and everyone's mom was talking about it on Twitter.
Let's get Bloody in because he ain't get a chance to talk about it.
And I'm glad BRAP brought up all this talk about the review scores and everything. And I got issues with that, right? Because people are using this as gospel. No. Metacritic, OpenCritic, all that aggregate score bullshit is
Language.
broken. Sorry,
Language.
it happens. Sorry, my bad. Aggregate scoring systems right now are broken in every aspect because of the fact that here's the thing, right? They weight the scores based on certain keywords that are written in the article, as well as the scores themselves, as well as the number of reviews. If you look at Crackdown 3 scores right now, you're looking at maybe 50 to 60, right? So 50 to 60 people's opinions, breaking it down, using certain keywords that the websites use to help rate the score, and then averaging it. So 60 people's words is what's giving it the score it is right now.
My issue with the reviews score and how Metacritic and OpenCritic go on is you have these people that will literally give a game an 8 out of 10. That's a broken mess that it didn't function at all.
Right.
And something like Crackdown that functions well, that's fun.
But
let me add that. Fun.
But you got to remember something.
It's a 5 out of 10.
You guys got to remember something with reviews. These things exist in a spectrum. What parts may be broken in a game may not take away from the overall enjoyment of the game. Bloodborne has long.
So you're telling me Unity didn't take away from the fact,
but yet you look at Bloodborne and that is rated 9 and 10 across the board, and that's one of the things.
Bloodborne as an example because I've heard people say, "Oh, well, you know, like with Recore got docked for loading times." I literally heard someone say, "Oh, well, you know, how come they didn't dock Bloodborne for having long load times and they docked Recore?" I'm like, you got to think about but you got to think about what Bloodborne's loading versus what Recore is. I mean, these things. It's not always a one-to-one comparison. These things and parts and pieces of a game all exist in a spectrum. It's never always one-to-one. It is at times, but it always isn't. It always isn't a one-on-one thing. So we can't sit there and be like, "Oh, well, so and so didn't dock them because the loading time was longer than Bloodborne, and they said the loading time was okay with Bloodborne." Like I heard someone say, "How come Shadow of the Colossus got like a 9 and it plays like Shadow of Colossus?" Well, Shadow of Colossus wasn't Shadow of the Colossus 2. It was a remake or remaster of the original, and actually they improved in some of the gameplay mechanics.
Don't say that because they improved on what they did with Gears of War Ultimate Edition.
I was about to bring that up.
They docked that. That one scored in an 80.
Microsoft has been getting dogged this whole generation. And let's not act like BRAP knows.
And what was the original Gears of War? Like a 90?
It was a 93.
So it dropped almost more than 10 points off the same game. And Shadow of the Colossus came out first.
And they
tell me how.
New visuals and they updated.
The Shadow of the Colossus was an improvement over the original. If you play the original, you play the title now. The what plays today really feels like what the developer had envisioned for that game. And when Shadow of the Colossus came out, it was a game that was beyond its time. Like it was beyond what was capable of the PS2, which one of the reasons why I got so praised on the PlayStation 2. When it came out on the PS4 and I went back and played it, I'm like, this is what they wanted this game to be like. It played much better than the original.
Yeah. But I'm just saying when it comes down to it is that people are looking at these scores as the end all be all when that's not what these are meant to do. Because as I said, the way that the aggregate scoring algorithm works, it does not work in favor for games that have low or even movies. And I'll go specifically with movies. You look at Rotten Tomatoes, you look at IMDb, all that. You look at a movie look at Schindler's List. Look at The Color Purple. Look at Titanic. Look at Gone with the Wind. Classic films, literally legendary in all their rights, has thousands upon thousands of reviews. You think that these would be the end-all, be-all movies, the greatest of all time, have perfect scores, right? No, you look at them, they're rated either in the high 80s or 8.9 to, 9.1. And that's from having thousands of reviews done by multiple people across multiple generations. You want to know what has some of the highest scores? There's literally one movie I could tell you right now that has 100 on Rotten Tomatoes. Paddington 2.
How many reviews does it have? 10.
And that has 67 reviews. And I know this because me and some of my coworkers got talking about this. And you look at those aspects. Yeah, Paddington 2 has a 100% score because of the fact that it has very few reviews, and the people who went to go see that film enjoy that film. They didn't critique it like some of the critics who looked at classic films. That's why these review scores are not the end all be all,
So
because
they're
they're
not
waiting.
the end all be all, but what bothers me is that once you have that piling on mentality, that sort of mob mentality when it comes to low review scores and what I feel to be unfairly low review scores in certain instances, what happens is that drives a narrative for everybody. Like that, if you don't have that game yet, right, and you're interested in it, and you're just banking on what that score says, that's it. You're not playing it, right? So that's what I mean by that. Like I could care less about review scores. I'm going to play a game whether
exactly. But you're taking the word of 60 people's opinions over the opinion of thousands of others who actually play in the game and telling you, no, it's actually fun. It's not what they're saying. But you're going to believe the few people, and that's where the issue with these
loud minority
outlets that gave these are the same outlets that gave Dying Light the score it did. So
yeah. And that's why I'm saying that we have given too much power to the media and these aggregate scores because of that fact, because of the fact that people don't understand that system. That's why it really is a key factor. People need to determine what is fun for them.
That's what
and go and play the games that appeal to them.
But I feel like people already know what's fun for them. Like I've been gaming for 37 years. Like if I go to a review, I'm not looking at the score. I'm reviewing at the body of work. I feel like people don't.
Bro, I just want to cut you for a second. Only for the simple fact, I hear what you're saying. I actually agree 1000% with you. That's where I'm at. Like to me, the scores and the Metacritic stuff, to me, that's just a framework, right?
Yeah.
That's give me an idea of certain mechanics, certain things. And then I also got to take into effect, is the person a fan of the series or the genre? Because sometimes people will review something and
they don't and I feel like they don't give enough input on what's going on either.
So I get that point. But the other part too is just that, like, look, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? You've got to make that call for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If you're not feeling, no man should have that power. No media outlet should have that power where if they put a score on a game that you love, that you're going to feel that much.
And what's funny is
don't play your game.
One of the issues I have is, you know, I don't think it's like I said in the stream. These games are going to get reviewed regardless who reviews them. It could be Bob from accounting that you know, he reviewed Kingdom Hearts, didn't know anything about the game, didn't know the story, didn't know any of them. He reviews it, which, you know, it's his objective opinion. He came in there with his objective opinion, said he said be very thorough about it. I'm new to the franchise, I've never played it, but his opinion and his score he gives it is going to adjust Metacritic score, and that's the issue I have, because you have these people reviewing these games, and it's the whole system's fault.
All right, hold on one second. I gotta cut you right now because we have the Lord of PlayStation in the crowd right now. Sony royalty. We have the man that has been on the Crackdown streets.
Oh boy, bro.
He's been on top of the building with the shotgun shooting anyone trying to climb up.
Oh no.
Crackdown and Metacritic and Xbox fans all over the realm. Lord Kratos, how are you doing, sir?
Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up? What all my brothers been up to? I've been good, man. Been good. Been blessed.
Well, I'm sure you've been having such a great time.
No,
I'm sure you know it's all sunny in Charlotte. Yeah, so you're looking outside, eating that champagne, drinking that champagne on that Twitter.
I don't think he's gonna give you what you think he's gonna give you on this game.
Exactly. Listen, listen to David. I'm telling you. Okay, so
man, I gotta boycott you.
All right,
listen. I'm telling you. Listen to what he's gonna tell you.
I'm joking.
Well, okay, so you know, Xbox community, y'all caught me at a great time. I'm for 3 weeks. Listen, for 3 weeks straight, I've been going vegan.
Go back to Twitter, Joe.
I've been meditating.
No beef.
He changed up his joint.
So I'm cleansing everything, and it's kind of it's mellowing me out. So y'all haven't been seeing me going savage as much.
He says, as much.
Yeah, as much. So let me tell you my thoughts. My thoughts on Crackdown. Right, this is the new enlightened Kratos. Opinion. So I've been saying this for a long time, for years, that I think people have put too much stock in Crackdown itself because the previous games were never as huge as people would like them to be. They were okay games. You know, they were. It was a middle down the road game, but it was never supposed to be up there with Halo, Gears, and Forza, and I don't even know why the Microsoft executive said that.
Why? My thing is why, though. All right, so if you look at if Sony had felt the same way about Uncharted 1,
yeah,
where would we be?
They're not the same game.
They're not.
It doesn't matter. It's not.
But this is the third game in that series. They tried it the first time, right? It was okay. It was okay. And then they tried it on the follow-up. It was okay. So for us to expect Crackdown 3 to be the savior of this generation is
all right. Let me double in because I hear where Solve is going on. I know where you're going, and I know where King is going with that. But the question becomes: are we as the Xbox community, are they allowed to not demand a better sequel? Are they not allowed to say, hey, we want progression? Because the consensus seems to be that this is more of the same, but just like an up-res version, and they're not a lot of newer gameplay.
No, it's more gameplay there. Like it's different though.
It's not that.
It's evolved. There's no denying.
I feel what y'all saying, and I mean, I really would have had like Kratos to finish his point. Because he's gonna say exactly what I've been saying, but I wanted to come from a Sony dude because I know when he picked up the game, he had the same expectations I did because me and him we tweeted. So go ahead, Kratos, please.
Go ahead, Kratos. My bad.
So this game was never going to again be the savior of this generation, but I'll tell you this, right? What gave this game so much weight was the cloud power talk.
Yes.
The tech. This was supposed to be the tech, the leading tech thing that pulls us into the next generation, on and on and on. But here's the thing, right? So many other people have tried different things dealing with the cloud, and no one else has tried to do this but Microsoft. And whether or not you like it or not, they talked about the Sea of Thieves cloud with the water and stuff like that. I don't know. I always thought it was far-fetched. But Crackdown, if you like the first two, then you'll like part 3. This was, I think people put too much stake, and I think Phil. Ultimately, I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm just gonna be honest. When they started canceling Scalebound and all those games previously in Lionhead Studios, this would have been a game that Phil would have tossed in there too. This was another game, but he had to save something because that great lineup and history tag, that those pictures became really short. That banner became really short, so they had to keep something.
Right.
I personally wish they would have kept Fable Legends instead.
That went in the bushes.
But no. Trust me. I was in the beta. I was in the beta. That was still to this day.
I was in the beta too. That's in the bushes. That's not a Fable
I've ever seen.
Yeah,
but you see,
I did not like that.
Nobody is respecting a PlayStation dude that constant. I mean, this is the thing, right? All these PlayStation dudes are. If they didn't play the game or whatever, they have something negative to say. I knew for a fact that he wasn't going to have anything negative to say about it. And he gives a lot of praise to Xbox stuff that people don't give him credit for. But he states the facts when it comes to some of these PlayStation games is really top tier games.
Let me jump in.
I don't think any of us ever really thought we or expected Crackdown to be the savior of anything. My thing is just evolution and progression. You have a template. If you look at how think about it. Think about Spider-Man last year, right? When you think about all of the abilities that Spider-Man had, all the stuff you can unlock. Now imagine that sort of same sort of template for a Crackdown game, or games of that ilk that have come since then. And the thing about it with me is that
Pro 4.
Crackdown, and what was the ancestor to that? Which game started all of that open world crazy explosive stuff? First Crackdown. So it's a reasonable expectation for them to try to take the forefront in evolving the formula, but other things have done it before that, right? Hulk Ultimate Destruction, even before that. The Saints Row games, right? Prototype, even Agents of Mayhem have done more stuff with it, and I'm like, okay. Why you keep treating it like this game has to stay
in this box?
It can't rise above its station.
Well, if you think about it, that's done with multiple industries. People to this day still complain they're sprinting in Halo. They want it back to the old formula that you can't sprint, you can't aim down sides. No one truly wants a franchise to evolve until it evolves.
But here's the thing. Let me jump in because everybody's making fantastic points. Like, for the record, I am not a Crackdown guy, right? I've never understood the appeal to the game back in the day. To be honest, it was always known to me as the pack-in game that you can use as an excuse to get Halo. That was Crackdown's history for me. So I didn't even try the original game because I just wanted that Halo beta. But we get to Crackdown. Look, I had fun playing the multiplayer on a simplistic level, few laughs. I didn't like I couldn't play with friends, but everything about the core gameplay loop, I'm with Saul. It just is so antiquated. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a fan of Crackdown, I get it. Like I totally understand why they may love it. I'm not knocking anyone that that likes it, but and I'm with Bloody on this. Like Crackdown fan, don't let another man or media knock your enjoyment of the game. Like if you having fun, do what you do. I'm a Destiny guy. I'm built for the smoke. So what you do. But every Lord on the round table knows because we got solved. Everyone here, E3 2017, we saw that joint behind closed doors. And we all said it was like an up-res 360.
I'm a Crackdown fan, and I said that looks spooky.
And my main beef was always them stink animations that run, the way his floor hit the movement. I just felt that they needed to do that. So now we got the lack of the Xbox party at multiplayer launch, unable to use certain saves in the co-op, very minimalistic features in my listen, I'm with Kratos. This shows me Phil and Microsoft wanted this game out the door at all costs, regardless of the complexities of the cloud tech. There was not going to be no further delays with this game post.
And there's no denying that aspect. People fail to also remember is that this game had went through almost three different studios, as well as it's the last remnants of the previous regime. They needed to clear out everything that was from the past.
Exactly. So in my opinion, they're gonna eat the negative press, be done with it, let it hibernate in Game Pass. They can get it better patch, do whatever they're gonna do.
Phil was pretty much like, we're gonna take that L eventually. We might as well take it now.
I'm not mad at Phil.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing with Phil with that mantra, right? He should have took all his L's up front when he was canceling when they cancel Scalebound and all this stuff. Go ahead and get it out the way, and that'll.
One thing that we always forget is that there's a lot of investments and investors and stock. Like canceling all those games at once, it would have dropped their stock even more.
I mean, listen, the worst thing that happened back then, right? They lost all the studios. They not lost, but they kind of got rid of. They chopped a bunch of stuff, right? Lionhead went underway. Fable got canceled. Scalebound, and the rest. We don't have to repeat all the stuff that happened at that time. Go ahead and get that out the way, so you don't have to spend the next 4 years dragging this mess. And now people are continuously say, well, this was the old regime. This was Dunny D and Terry Martin. It's like, okay, this is 2019.
Get rid of this game, though.
Here's the thing. They had to. I want to say save face. It's one of those things that if you keep giving your community, let's be real, this generation has been an L as far as first party, right? So it's been barren. The cupboard is bare, right? So if you cancel a Scalebound, right? If you cancel all these games, you're creating such negative energy. You have to give them something. So in my opinion, Phil made a decision to say, look, this is not from my era. This is the Don Matrick era. We are going to finish this thing at all costs. Take the L. You know what I'm saying? It's like that bastard child that he's inherited. You know what I'm saying? Like, and from this point on, he's like, the next generation is my vision, my studios, all the things that I'm going to do. So to me, that's when I truly hold his feet to the fire regarding
the problem. Listen, here's the problem with that, though, and I want to agree with you, but
go for it.
It's a different mindset. This is 2019, right? The last 2 to 3 years in the generation, that's when these consoles should have been hitting their stride with knocking all the games out of the park. Right now, on the other camp, it seems like Nintendo and Sony can't lose.
Absolutely.
It seems like every game they drop, even Days Gone coming, even if you're not interested in it, you know without a doubt that game is going to be at least a 78 to a mid 80. Even if you don't even like those type of games, you know it's going to be of a certain quality. And that leads me to with Phil in the executive team. where is their quality control? Right, they stand over these games. They know what shape these games.
There was quality control. That's the reason they canceled so many games. Why
good games don't come out though? Like, we're not gonna run with this narrative that Phil. That's the one thing we not gonna do here. We are not gonna sit here and go at my man's and them Phil Dominus rocking it. So this Crackdown, I'm glad he stuck with it. I'm glad he pushed it out the door. You know why? Because it's hot fire for me. And I don't
let me say something, because
I don't care if nobody plays it, but he put it out the door. You know, when that Game Pass said it's available, you know who was up like this?
Let me say something real quick, because I
gotta get it.
Like, do you guys think that would make a sequel to this?
No.
You think they're gonna make a Crackdown 4?
No,
I'm willing to say. Has anyone here? Hold on. Let me talk. Has anyone here beat the story?
No, I was gonna.
I can almost guarantee you there's gonna be a Crackdown 4.
I was gonna agree with you, Addict.
I hope not.
Here's the reason: because what they need to do is, while they own the IP, is that once they have a dedicated studio for this game,
that's what I think is going on here. I think that's the reason it wasn't canceled, because they do have more Crackdowns planned, but they had to get this one in
because they took it away from Ruffian, and then they forced the Sumo to kind of pick up what they had with the assets, and Sumo had to start over. Sumo had to start over, but they kept some of the assets.
That's what they have to do to get this game. I really don't care about their problems.
No. But what I'm saying is that Addict is right. They're gonna put more into it, but that's why a lot of people are hating on it, but also respect at the same time.
I think that's the reason that they never canceled this game. That they made sure it came out regardless what happened. Is because the ending of this game. You know, I'm not going to spoil anything, but at the ending of this game. Like the way they ended it, the amount of attack that they were getting throughout the whole dev cycle, they wouldn't have made the ending they would have if they weren't going to make it.
But here's the thing.
Open.
Here's the thing, right?
They didn't just leave it open. They didn't even leave the hallway. You walked out was like there's it's not even a cliffhanger. It's like what hanger? Like
I hope there is not a Crackdown 4, and I'm going to tell you
why.
Why
would you say that? Though?
No, I'm going to tell you why. My excuse is very logical for this reason, right? We gave you 3 tries, right? We gave you 3 tries, 3 generations. Next generation, I do not want any. I'm choosing my words. Remember, I'm vegan, so I'm still processing. I do not want any of the baggage that came from this generation.
But then don't buy it then.
Listen, I get it, man. Listen, you got to realize I don't want Xbox to be the underdog forever. Next generation, I want them to come out with nothing but brand new IPs. And yes, they can come out with the Halo, Gears, and Forza, but I don't want that to be the bread and butter again. I want them to think about it. Think of how many brand new IPs that Sony gave you this particular generation that wasn't from last year. A bunch of brand new IPs that we know we're getting sequels to. I want that for Microsoft. I don't want Crackdown 4 to come out and we're still shaking our head and laughing and pointing fingers. That
why can't we have both?
I agree with Addict. We can't have both because at the same time,
just because you don't enjoy
why is Crackdown? Crackdown was never that game.
But the first Crackdown was in '82. So we saying '82s are garbage now? Are we saying we can't have both?
What generation did Crackdown come in?
That doesn't matter.
Are we living in the?
You just said. Let me be honest. No,
I think we are living. I think
that they never hit a home run with Crackdown, but the first one was in '82.
I personally believe the
Xbox
community is living in the glory days of yesteryear.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
I'm saying is,
yes,
why
we
can't
are.
we have both?
We are. We still want to feed them more days. We still want to.
I haven't heard why you said we can't have both. I haven't heard.
I'm going to tell you why.
Dominus era. Like I'm actually in that era. Like that stuff that you talking about. Like I hope they don't listen to you. But me personally, the same amount of fun I had with Spider-Man, I'm having the same amount of fun with Crackdown. And let me tell you why. I can, when Addict was like, I'm not getting those book bags. I got every last book bag. Like I was under grabbing book bags out of bushes. Like I didn't care. Like I'm like, this is the fun part. This is that part where I was going to every park beating up people. They said it was repetitive. They didn't like it. A lot of people got a lot of negative stuff on Spider-Man. The hell with them. That was my game of the year. And This joint, I'm under bridges, inside bushes, inside corners, getting orbs, jumping to the highest thing. I'm doing so much crazy stuff with being a superhero, which the game allows me to be. I'm having so much fun. Now, people are starting to use this stuff as gospel, this Metacritic, this garbage that people are oh, it got a 67. I'm not going to check it out. How about that guy had a bias going in? How do you not know if that game is not good for you? But if you got Game Pass, take your butt over there, check it out. There's no reason you can't check it out. And if you don't like it, it's up to you. Who cares?
Here's the thing. That is the Microsoft
scares me.
If it's not going to get
we have always used Metacritic as a census of what the masses in the editorial realm think of a game. Now, yes, you can have a game to come out and be a 20 Metacritic and still love it. The original State of Decay, I love that game, and it didn't knock the socks off of everybody.
But that was also an arcade game.
Kratos,
people looked at it as an arcade game.
Kratos, have you ever played? Did you even play? Have you played the third one yet?
I got it. Yes, I got it.
Have you played it? I didn't ask. Did you get it?
Yeah, he asked if you played it.
I played it.
How much?
I played literally 15 minutes of it.
How much?
What do you mean? How much?
You keep dancing around this question.
How long have you been in the game?
I just said 15 minutes. That's what I said.
15 minutes.
Okay,
I got you.
Yes.
So I got you. 15 minutes.
Let's get here's the thing, right? Yeah. All right. Me going in, right? I think that's
the cutscene in about 3 minutes of gameplay. Got you.
I'm going to give a game, right? I'm going to give its fair share. I just haven't really been gaming a lot, period. Yeah. This was one of those,
All right, so you're frauding. Got you. I need that fraud alert, King. I need that fraud alert.
I thoroughly explained myself about what I was doing.
I'm just
how I'm in my aura. So y'all probably really haven't seen me online. He's not even on.
Exactly. This is true.
We appreciate you
once I'm done with doing my thing, then I'm back on my gaming grind or whatever. So I'm going to get down to it. That's to say that I'm not going to play it. I'm just at that point now where this game was never going to be what most people thought it was going to be. Yes, you can still have fun with the game. You can be ecstatic about it. You can thoroughly enjoy it. But at the same time, this was not the game to be holding on your shoulders in anticipation of waiting. I think the next game that you can hold on your shoulders is going to be Gears 5, because that will give you a consistent mid to high 80s. But again, how do we get to the point where we can set Gears to the side, because we know that that's going to always give us something good? Halo always give us something good. Forza always going to give us something good. What is the next few games that's going to allow us to attach to that? Because the executive team, remember, they said that Crackdown they wanted that game up there with the Halo, Gears, and Forza.
That's the reason I feel like they didn't cancel it, because they got plans with the franchise.
Let me get plans.
Look, the issue with this game is they always outsourced it, but they're not doing that anymore. They're buying studios. They're making sure everything's in house now.
Making these excuses on why these games come out.
It's not excuses. It's just reality.
It is. It's reality. It is reality.
He's not an excuse. It's reality.
When 86 came out, right? Nobody had excuses on why this game didn't get a high Metacritic, right? Nobody on the Sony side, from what I'm seeing, there's when their games don't do what they should do, there's never excuse. Oh, this is because of this, or it's because of that. It's just
they just don't talk about it. They just don't talk about it.
There's another game out there that's going to be highly rated. That when you have a bunch of big hitters, you can have duds and nobody care. But when you have a bunch of duds and a handful of heavy hitters, it looks spooky. And this is why Xbox for this generation this is why that mindset is there. This is why
that's why they completely changed the way they do things.
60. We thought the cloud was going to be this.
We're not going to sit here and act like Microsoft's not taking precautions to fix this issue. I'm tired of this persona that people be acting like that no one's trying to fix this, that they've been in the same ship and they ain't trying to repair it. We ain't going to act like that, because they've been doing everything they can to fix this.
Exactly. And if you're telling me you're going to bring up everything that they can't right.
Hold on. We got to get BRAP in here. They're like, y'all been going. This man hasn't talked yet. BRAP, can you get in here, please? Thank you.
Yes, I just want to say something about the perception of and you guys have heard me talk about media bias and things, and Cognito, we talked on DM earlier today.
God, we're going to hear the same conversation we hear every couple months.
Let him finish.
Oh, no. Let the man finish, man. I mean, my concern is every time there's a game that comes out from Microsoft first party that doesn't score well, everyone blames the media. And I said this on Crossfire. Let's look, and I have been Xbox day one. I mean, day one. Launch OG Xbox. I was a beta tester. I have a lot of love for the Xbox, but I'm concerned by some of the thinking and the mindset of the community that I feel is detrimental in the sense that, you know what, it's not the media that's making the games, it's Microsoft. And let's not lose sight of that. They are
side of that. You're letting a minority speak for the majority.
No, but
that's my problem when you bring these up. You let the small portion of people that flip out on Twitter speak for the masses.
The other day talking about a hit. He said, "Oh, there's a hit on this game."
He's part of the minority.
Crazy. But that's the problem, though.
When State of Decay came out and got his whatever it did, Cognito, did I not say? Did I not say in the condition it was, it deserves a score? Did I not say that?
The thing is, the people hear those voices, and it's this prominent thing, and I see it a lot on my timeline. And it's people, oh, Ryan doesn't get it. Ryan's biased. The media hate Xbox. You had kids move out there saying there's a hit. That he believes that Kotaku and other
Kid Smooth's opinions speak for everyone.
But you know what?
That's how you're acting. You're acting like the whole community has.
There's a lot of people agree with him, though, and you can't deny that. There's a lot of people agree with that.
Name me 5 people right now that says stuff like Kid Smooth did.
Yes, absolutely. I see it all the time.
Name me 5 people.
No, listen, we ain't gonna name their names. We know.
We got people over here acting like we're all the time, and the entire community is comparing.
Media bias doesn't exist.
That's how bias does
not exist. I'm tired of people letting a handful of people speak for the whole community. I'm tired of people talking about the community, acting like everyone's got the exact opinion a handful of people have.
Talking for the community. And the community is agreeing with him. And now we got people comparing Xbox woes to Jim Crow. I mean, it's gone out of control.
We're not going to touch that. But here's the thing. What we got to talk, I want to get to you, BRAP, is that so your overall feeling, I just want to get your point. Your overall feeling is that the Xbox community is making excuses for the title and blaming media bias as to why it's scoring bad. Like, what is your feeling about the Crackdown aftermath? That's what I want to get to.
Yeah, I do think that, like I said, I think if you have fun with the game, at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Facts.
And you shouldn't let anyone, if someone doesn't agree with, you having, like the media, if they give it a 6, they're not telling you can't have fun. If you have fun with it, who cares?
Facts.
It's a different of opinions at the end of the day, but it's not because the media is biased or they hate Xbox. That stuff's nonsense. It's just a difference of opinions. Again, people focus on all those. They focus way too much on that. And then the other part, the part that worries me is that then there's the issue of accountability.
Right.
Like we have to hold these companies accountable too. Everyone's up in arms when EA does crazy stuff with microtransactions. There has to be that same accountability for everything, I think. And I feel like at times it's just not. I feel like there's a lot of deflection that goes on. And
I don't see this you're talking about. I see people all the time saying that Microsoft needs to improve.
Let me say something here. BRAP, I completely agree with you about accountability, but also, and I'm going to say this in 2 parts because I'm going to agree with you and disagree with you. They took accountability. They took accountability after everything that they had canceled before because of the fact that they were getting rid of things that were well out of their hands. We saw how the development was going for Fable Legends. A lot of people weren't feeling it. A lot of the money that was put into it, and a lot of people who purchased that, who were going through the beta, they refunded everyone's money, right? I saw people who were buying the stuff out of that because of the fact that Fable Legends wasn't living up to what they wanted. We saw the investment that they put behind Scalebound and why they canceled that. And they took accountability for that because they washed their hands of it because we saw kind of and heard a lot of the horror stories on the development side of that on what was going on with Platinum, but we're not going to talk about that. We just know that's why they kind of washed that. Why they kept Crackdown and pulled it away from Ruffian and then gave it to Sumo Digital is because of the fact that Sumo Digital, one of their second party developers, they're working with them trying to help bring them up like they've done with Undead Labs, like we're seeing with Studio MDHR and other things. They knew that the game was going to be issues, right? So they were taking accountability by putting it with one of their second parties, letting them work on it, giving them the time to do what they could with the game. So they did take accountability in the aspect that they knew it wasn't going to be this big hitter. They wanted to be. And that's why we're definitely going to still potentially see more with the series come later. But the thing is that they have to have that dedicated studio for it, like we're seeing with everything else. We had the dedicated Halo, we had the dedicated Gears, we had the dedicated Forza. Like they're building and they're letting other studios experiment, or if they want to do something different, they're letting them do that. But what they need to do is they are trying to set up a dedicated studio for this, or a dedicated team. And I think that's where the accountability is going to come for it. They knew it wasn't going to be a big hitter.
I got one question. Before you jump in, Chris, I know where you're going to go. I think I know where you're going to go. But what I want to ask Bloodi is, what do you say to the general consensus that, that look at the Xbox brand and software and say, hey, this generation has been a bunch of overall 60 titles, a lot of mediocrity, and that Xbox fans, the consensus is that, we are making excuses, that, we should demand better, and that whenever there is a mediocre game that drops, that there's always a but and what if kind of thing. Like, what do you say to that group of gamers that says that about
because if I say to them that the generation has been a good generation. It's not a great generation. I won't deny that fact. There's no deflecting that. But everything that we've gotten has set basis for what a lot of people are getting out now. Why everyone on the Sony camp and love to them hyped up and got excited for Spider-Man. That's great. What they did with that game is great. Well, the precedent for that game and the groundwork for that game all came from Sunset Overdrive on what they did over here first. The movement, the traversal, that kind of world, that came from there first.
Yeah, Crackdown.
Look at what now Remedy is doing with Control. That was set with the groundwork from Alan Wake and Quantum Break. All that stuff is getting groundwork because of the work that has been done with these studios. Yes, they may not have been great games before, but they're working towards even greater games next, whether they're multi-plats, whether they're exclusive, whatever. It's all setting the groundwork. And now we're going to see really what not just these second, third parties are doing. We're going to see how much better the first parties are going to do. There definitely has that potential, and they're showing it now slowly over time.
All right, I'm going to get Kratos and then get King, and then we got to move on from Crackdown. So Kratos, I want you to get your final thoughts on that.
Okay, my final thoughts on this.
I hate to break up. I gotta go. You guys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks, Kratos and Pratt for coming on. Everyone, definitely. Last time I checked, there's 88 people, man. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Hit that like button. And we hit that like button, and King will throw up the fraud alert if you hit up the like button. But I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you, Attic, man. Appreciate it,
Attic. Have a great day, brother.
Go ahead, Kratos.
Okay, back to what you were just saying. There is a consistent generation that, and we can't deny that this generation was defined by a bunch of 60s rated games, and this is why when I'm doing what I do on Twitter, I say that's the Xbox template, the 60 rated game template, right? If Microsoft finna drop a game, automatically that sucker's going to be right there in that sweet spot.
I'm so happy that I go right behind you. That's brutal. I'm gonna take your vegan behind and throw you in a bush. I don't eat meat either.
That's what they're aiming for.
I don't eat meat either. So me throwing you in the bushes is one vegan throwing another one.
There you go. It's all with love, brother.
So let me tell you. Let me tell you. I don't care what a damn soul says about this game. I don't really care. It's hot fire. Now, because it's a bunch of people that is running. Lemon, all these dudes is running behind with me, holding this flag up because I'm so happy that this game was not canceled. Yeah, I saw Scalebound. Yeah, I saw problems with it. I wish that game wasn't canceled. But a lot of stuff had to die from that era. Don't front like stuff was going on wrong over there that wasn't done right. And this man is coming in cleaning up all the crap that's in the basement so you have a solid foundation. He is getting studios. He's doing this. So that talk about that. They're excelling to mediocrity. They're looking towards mediocrity, and that's the goal. That is not the goal. They're looking at the leaders right now, and they're saying that's the goal and to exceed that. So Sony is leading right now. Can't take that away from them. They made good choices, and they are definitely in the forefront right now. Nintendo's on their own wave. Microsoft next generation is putting themselves in position to win. This man put this game out from another dude situation. Like Cognito said, the redheaded stepchild is in the corner, and the redheaded stepchild needed his moment to shine. Whether you like him or not, he out here. And then, you know, but and what Addict says is true. My heart is so open for the next Crackdown. Hopefully they do what Sovereign says and they elevate it to another level. They do something. I don't care. As long as Phil gets his fair shake. This man has took away the power narrative. This man has taken away the y'all don't even do HD 4K. This man has set down foundations and is moving forward. Let's not act like this man has not taken it from the doldrums of the 720p crap. It's moving forward. May not be up to y'all standards right now, but when we look at the next generation, y'all can say Phil did that because this is why they're where they're at.
Okay. And look at the streaming foundations that they're doing with xCloud and how they say that they want it on every device. Phil. And look at the fact of they want to put it on mobile devices. How are you going to play those games on mobile devices? Phil. You want a controller, right? What do the Xbox controllers have now? Built-in Bluetooth, so you can connect to those devices to play those games.
Phil.
Exactly. All looking at all at the foundation.
And in the meantime, while that's going on, Sony has its biggest bangers coming. Continue to stride. Days Gone, Death Stranding, The Last of Us 2.
But when are those games coming out?
And then that's not including the sequels, and that's also not including all the new stuff that they've been working on, like Project Unknown and stuff.
What sequels? The only sequel that we know about right now is Neo 2.
Hold on now, buddy. Hold on, Kratos. Hold on, wait right now. Because y'all literally transitioned perfectly for Lord Soft.
He's like, yeah, let's get out of this topic.
Let's get it out right now. Lord Soft, we have some discussions. The Sony head, or what is it? Shawn Layden dropped an interview. A lot of stuff going on. So tell us what's going on with Sony, so we can literally bring this in.
Okay, so this my topic is really just talking about Shawn Layden's interview with Game Informer, and added to that actually his DICE presentation.
Yeah,
and the recent sort of reshuffling of executives at Sony and what that means for the future of the company. So let's start with Shawn Layden's interview with Game Informer and his DICE presentation first. When I initially was going to come at this, I was going to kind of come at this kind of hard, just because this is one thing that I feel with Sony, and I think it happens with everybody, but with Sony, just because I think in terms of innovation, in terms of they've been known to follow a lot in terms of actual innovation. Great games, fantastic first party stuff, but in terms of services, things of that nature, things about sort of moving where consoles are going forward, I've always felt they followed. So initially I was going to attack that because I always felt when in this particular interview, when Shawn talks about like the changes they had to make when the pressure from Fortnite was on and the crossplay stuff, he made it seem as if, they had to step back from this situation that, they didn't understand per se, and they had to come up with a proper Sony-like solution for it, which is it's a lot of mumbo jumbo for saying we had to just bend the knee and say, look, this is the way things are going. We have to change. And honestly, when I read the entire interview, when I listened to the DICE Summit stuff, he was a lot more open to where the future of gaming is going. And it didn't feel as much like he was just sort of spinning it in a Sony type of way. So that said, it's really interesting to me that he gave credit to Nintendo. He gave credit to Microsoft for the things that are happening in the industry, that it's creating the narrative for what the future of consoles is going to be. And he's made it clear that PlayStation is on that ride too. They're not necessarily going to stay where they've been, right? They're going to focus on what's been strong for them, which is single player narrative driven games, right? He said specifically that they're not going to be making more games in that ilk per se. They're going to have less games and focus on having them be stronger quality, which is something that that's their mantra: quality above all else. No matter how long it takes, quality above all else. I respect that. But what's interesting is that he made a specific statement in his interview with Game Informer saying, I don't want to put too hard a point on this, but we're looking, and I don't want to do it because I might piss some people off that I work with. but we're looking at a post-console future where you play means a lot less than what you're playing, and that's what we're looking to focus on.
I caught that too. I caught that,
and it's kind of it's cool that they're finally on this bandwagon, on the same wavelength. It's just interesting to me, and the changes that they've made in terms of the executive swaps indicate that they're all in on that, right? When you look at the swap between John Codera and Jim Ryan, Codera is not going to go back to what he initially did, which was focusing on the services and focusing on all the guts and underlying stuff of the PlayStation Network, that's what his strength is. So he's going to go back to that, and Jim Ryan is going to go back to being that face executive, right? And not necessarily worry so much about games, but worry about the strength of the business moving forward and what that means. And I think that's a perfect position for him as well. So these movements show that they are absolutely 100% on board with that. And I'm glad we have Kratos here today, because
me too.
I want to know what a PlayStation guy feels about this, because they're essentially saying, in a sense, like, Mate, we give up. We have to get on this train too. And we have to do it in a PlayStation way. And he made it clear that they're still going to be focusing on what makes them strong, but that they have to follow suit with what Microsoft is essentially doing, and what Nintendo's kind of doing as well.
Okay.
Let's go, Kratos.
All right. So let me tell you this, right? A lot of people think that Sony is following in Microsoft footsteps and what they're trying to do with the whole streaming and stuff like that. And I just want to bring it back to this point. Last generation,
they were first.
Sony has PlayStation Now. And am I right? But am I wrong? Am I right? They were, yes. They bought the Gaikai and they did the whole streaming thing first. So let's not make it seem like they're just sitting on the sideline. Sony is always investing in doing things. You just don't hear it because it's not at the forefront. You know, again, their motto: games first, everything else second, and that's been successful for them, right? Now, I get it. I give props to Microsoft because they do let you in on a lot of stuff that they're doing with the clouds and the Azure servers and stuff. They let you know. They're very transparent with that. Whereas Sony, they kind of focus on exactly what they're doing with that particular market. Now, here's the second thing. I can see, right, and I applaud it. Sure, the future, you cannot hold up progress at all. It's inevitable. It's inevitable that we're going to be streaming our games in the future. I can't say if it's going to be 10 years from now. I can't say it's going to be 20, 30, 50. It doesn't matter. But at the same time, right, you're going to have 50, what do we call it? 50 streaming services out there. Amazon has theirs. Google going to have theirs. Apple is working on theirs. Microsoft working on theirs. Sony's working on theirs. And we already know Nintendo is, I don't know, somewhere in there. but right. So at the end of the day, right, if we can no longer talk about, if these consoles go away and it's no longer about, okay, my processor is a little bit faster than yours, my T-flops a little bit faster than yours. What does that boil down to? If today, right, if Microsoft to this day, right now, this generation said, we're foregoing any hardware and we're just going to give you games, how would that change Xbox's circumstances, and how would that change Sony's circumstances? Sony still has those games that everyone, they still have the install base, the type of games they have, and Microsoft still have the type of games that they have. Nintendo still have the type of games they have. That doesn't change anything. Hardware will never change anything. Right? Because at the end of the day, look at Nintendo. They have the weakest console, and yet they're knocking it out the box over and over. It's about the games. And I think we need to take a pause and all admit, all right, there was a time, and I think Microsoft actually did the interview when they were talking about and I need to find that link and I will send it to you guys. But basically, in the start of every generation, it is about power, right? That gets you ramped up. But after the second year, it transitioned and it's all about the games, because you can no longer sell someone on power after they have already bought the console. It's more about the games to sustain that. This is why, I mean, it's about games. So if we go into all streaming future, right now, today, I think the positions would stay the same. Now, next generation, I'm pretty sure Microsoft's going to have some better games that's going to equate
infrastructure to do what you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah. No. Listen, Microsoft has the infrastructure. Sony currently have the infrastructure, but again, they may not be as strong as Microsoft, because Microsoft, they make their bread and butter with that, whereas Sony has other things. But that's not to say that they're going to be lagging behind in any other area. We just don't know that.
But let me ask you this question, and I'm going to give it back to the rest of the panel. Like, what about, remember when Phil kind of came out as a head on the whole device playing anywhere thing, right? Yes. And there was a lot of backlash from the community because people were saying like, oh my God, Xbox traditional consoles are going away. They're getting out of the business and all this. So what do you say to this now when you see Shawn Layden saying, hey, we're essentially going to be doing the same thing where Sony's going to be on every device and we don't necessarily care about the platform you play on, like, because remember a lot of the Xbox base was getting attacked.
Listen, I agree. You can always look at things from YouTube, Twitter banner, fanboy standpoint, right? But that's to cause a jab at certain communities on the internet, right? That's what that is. But at the end of the day, we got to face reality. You know, what we jab at on YouTube and Twitter is not necessarily 100%. What's going on behind the scenes. You know, a lot of people don't know that, you know, Yoshida, Shawn Layden, and Phil and the rest of those guys, they're really good friends. They
do like we do. Like, we really think that we be going at each other. Exactly. We be inside each other's DMs talking crap.
We be sitting there, you know, talking about what we finna say and what we gonna do. That's you know, that makes for good entertainment.
Right. But do you think there is a certain section of gamer, of hardcore gamer, right? They gravitated to Sony this generation because of what Microsoft was doing. Immediately, PlayStation was perceived as the hardcore player's console, the hardcore old school console.
Yes.
What do you say to that person that really does believe that? And I don't think it's necessarily a super small number. What do you say to that person that then has to deal with this new reality, right?
Well, here's
that
the thing,
affect the PlayStation brand?
Those people that you're talking about, those were the disenfranchised people that were disgruntled. Listen, they were disgruntled from the Kinect and the TV talk. They wanted their Halo, Gears, and Forza and their big bangers that they got the previous generation. They didn't want to hear about all of this other stuff, you know. And so that kind of made them mad, and that forced them to the other side,
right? Yeah, makes sense.
Because a lot of people think about, a lot of people did not want to spin a
that's 720p.
Well, that too. That too.
But
King, it was a combination of things. This generation didn't end up like this just because of power or just because of one thing. It was a combination. First you're focusing on TV, and now I got to spend an extra $100 for a camera that I don't want, and then I got, you know, that's just what that is.
And you're not wrong, because of the fact that the biggest aspect of it that really helped in the beginning, and there's no way to deny it, is that you're right. The disenfranchised of people who got burned from the 2013, that was literally, that conference is what killed Xbox out the gate, because all Sony needed to do was say, hey, look, we're going to focus on games, and this is big focus. They literally just had to say the opposite of what they did. And they were able to sweep it away. That's really what killed it. So the whole generation was literally just clean up over time. And there's no denying that. As Xbox fans, we can't say anything, but it has been a hard generation because there was a lot of cleanup, and that's not always necessarily a bad thing. We're seeing the kind of betterment that's come out of it, but it has been a catch up, cleanup throughout the gen, and trying to deny that or downplay that fact is no good.
Let me say this real quick, and this is just to add on to you, right? To all my Xbox brethren out there, right? Here's the thing about it: this generation played out the way it played out. It's time to let it go. Microsoft really, listen, because of how they messed up in the beginning, they have to take their lumps. You cannot prevent them from taking their due lumps. When Sony took their lumps last generation, remember they came out with, you know, you got to get a second job. They came out, they didn't have Rumble in the controller, they didn't have any games.
The roughness with the PSN.
Jada, they told developers they wanted the PS3 to be hard to develop for on purpose.
That's because you needed like 3 computers to develop for a game on the PS3.
That's what I'm saying, right? Did Sony not take their lumps last generation?
No. And to Shawn Layden's credit, like, he acknowledged that in his DICE speech. He said, yes, he went through all the generations. He said PlayStation 3, and he paused. He said that was a moment, what we've always said, a moment of hubris.
Right.
That came back to bite us. Like, he was very honest about that, and how that forced them to become what they are today.
Yes.
That's what sometimes that's what, and my hope is with Microsoft that's what happened, right? Like we're in the process of seeing that happen. And all of those lumps they took at the beginning were like, no.
Of course it was hubris. They told you in the beginning. Yep. All right, don't worry about the games. We're gonna talk about this TV stuff real quick. And then they said, "Yo, you're gonna pay $100 for Connect because y'all like that. So we're gonna put that in the pot. And it's gonna come out with it being a little bit less powerful than that other dude that's a little bit cheaper."
And then, not to mention that Donnie D was not the PR man, because literally when they were saying, "Well, it's always online. What about the offline?" He's like, "Well, we got a console for that. It's a 360." It's like, no, you don't say that. You don't say that. That if you're trying to sell a new product,
when literally when Sony came on stage right after and was like, "This is how we trade used games."
Oh, it was
that lends credence to what I was saying. That lends credence to what I was saying is that all Sony had to do was say the exact opposite of everything bad that Microsoft said at the beginning of the gen, and it was done. It was done for them.
We're beating a dead horse. This dead horse has been beaten, slain.
No, King. It's literally been dead for so long that we actually had to go dig it back up and then start beating it again.
But the whole thing is, listen. We're going to talk about exactly what Shawn was talking about and moving forward and how this affects that part. We're not going to talk about the fact that they're winning and these dudes are losing. Let's talk about that. What Shawn is about.
Now, one thing that was a little bit, some people perceive as a little bit disingenuous in what he said is the crossplay stuff and the details of the crossplay stuff, because it seems that there is a narrative out there saying that there's preference to who they give crossplay availability to.
Yep.
There's been some issues with Chucklefish and their latest game. They've requested on multiple occasions to get crossplay kind of opened up for them, and they've been told no, categorically no. Hi-Res Studios.
Yeah.
Call them out on it.
Call them out.
Yeah.
CEO for them doing that too, by the way.
Apparently, policy wise, everything is not necessarily as across the board yet, as they've been sort of.
Can I jump in on that?
As they've been stating.
Can I jump in? Because literally that's where the big discrepancy is, because in the interview, Shawn Layden pretty much states that, hey, if you reach out to speaking to the developers, if you reach out to your PR, your account person on the Sony side, it's as easy as that is getting the implementation with the crossplay. That's all they have to do is speak to their account manager. But then when we saw the CEO of Hi-Res Studios, his tweet says, "Hey, at Sony, at PlayStation, it's time to stop playing favorites and tear down the crossplay progression wall for everyone." He said, "We have Smite, Paladin's game, and Realm Royale ready to go when you are." So the fact that tweet went viral, but there seems to be some disconnect. I'm not going to blatantly say dudes is lying out here, but clearly there's a disconnect. So that part has to get cleaned up, because clearly, a lot of devs want to have crossplay on the platform, and they're feeling that Sony is playing favorites with some of the, some of the developers.
Do you remember when before Fallout 76 came? Guys, all these different devs was on Sony about crossplay. Then Sony said, "Okay, here's crossplay. You can have it." Now they started moonwalking backwards. Oh well, it's going to take us some time. It's not at the snap of a finger like they initially said. And it's like, okay, well, tell you what, work on your product, get it up to standards before you start poking the big behemoth.
Kratos, he's saying it's ready though. Kratos, Hi-Res Studio said they got 3 games on deck, and your man
I believe it. I believe it.
But here, let me go ahead and piggyback off both you, Kratos, and you there, Cognito, is that yes, everyone was begging for or asked for crossplay, and there's definitely devs out there who want to do it, but the biggest thing is that they're blocking cross progression. Look at how long it took for them to open up the beta for Fortnite, and that's still going.
Or the free to play paywall.
Yeah, well, we can go with that, but the biggest thing here is cross progression, from being able to take your stuff across any platform that you're on and be able to use that. That is something that absolutely has to be key. Crossplay, right now we've seen that Microsoft or that Sony does do favorites, right? Because they keep their crossplay between PlayStation and they keep it with PC. And we've seen that even some of their own people And a lot of the people that do crossplay over there have said that they want to open up to other consoles, but they can't do the ports because of the fact that they want to do crossplay amongst all their things. And the biggest one is Final Fantasy XIV's director. And we're not talking the original Final Fantasy XIV that came out back in the PS3. No, we're talking about Realm Rebirth with all the new updates that they've done on the PS4 and PC. The director says that he wants to put that on Xbox, and he wants to have cross progression, but they can't do that until Sony opens up crossplay, and Sony was completely quiet on that. With Shawn Layden's entire interview, like that was the most controversial about it because he got called out on that. No, he got called out on it. But here's the thing:
called out all he damn want. These dudes is winning. They don't need to do anything.
But here's the thing, though, is that Shawn also is he contradicts himself in his interview, because I'm not talking about what he said about that during the Dice Summit. It's the interview that came later. Is he was talking about what their plans are for the future, especially on them not being at E3, right? So he stated, and he started this, right, by talking about why back in 1995 that Sony pulled out of CES, no longer wanted to show their hardware there, and why they decided to start showing off at E3 and the purpose of E3 originally. For anyone who doesn't know, E3 was originally a showcase for retailers and investors in the gaming industry. Yeah. Well, there's still a lot of people who don't know, but that's where they would go to show off anything that they had coming off and everything to kind of help push stuff for the holiday sales and stuff like that. And then he goes and talks about how this year they don't want to show up there, that they can have the media come to them, they can do their own event and stuff like that and do it bigger, and that E3 is really irrelevant when they don't have anything to show. But later on, when he was stating, after he was asked a question, he said, well, just because we're not going to be on E3 this year doesn't mean we can't come back next year, or why they're going back to CES to start to show off some of their hardware there after, they start dedicating their TVs and cameras. So if these shows are irrelevant and you don't need them to show off, then why go back to them and show off there? Because if you're going to these shows to show off, that means they have some sort of relevancy.
But I think
I'm just saying that it's a contradiction.
Initially, the beef that I had with the interview, and that's what I said I was going to go at it hard, was because of that specific the reasons he gave for not being at E3, right? And he initially came out with that spin, with sort of like, listen, E3 is changing, it's not what it was, it doesn't make any sense.
And about CES,
right? And he went there and he said that, right? But then, in a sense, he sort of betrayed that a little bit later when he said the truth of the matter is, he basically said the truth of the matter is,
we don't got anything to show.
We don't have anything that they don't know about yet, or that we can talk about just yet. So it doesn't make any sense for us to be there.
And then
let me get rapping, y'all.
That sort of kind of fixes that, right? Like the whole narrative that it's changing and it's about it's been changing for 2 or 3 years now. It's been evolving for a long time now. This is it's a gamer centric show now at this point, and if it feels messed up that your narrative is sort of like, well, it doesn't matter so much that we're there for the gamers. And that's how it feels a little bit, right? Even if they don't have anything new to show, the fact is gamers are going to be there. They want to see Sony stuff, regardless of what it is. You should be there, period.
Right.
Exactly.
Let me get Brap in too when you finish off.
The business reasoning behind it makes sense. And he did actually sort of elaborate on that. He's like, look, honestly, the fact of the matter is we don't have anything new to give them this year.
Fair enough. So, Brap, what did you feel about the Shawn Layden interview? What was your in the statements in reference to crossplay, so on?
Definitely thought, one I thought it was very insightful to get kind of their perspective on, first party that, focusing on quality. And, I think that for them, it's, hey, look, I think they've come to a realization this generation that they're up there with like the likes of Nintendo in terms of first party. For me, Nintendo's always been the pinnacle of first party in terms of development and games. I think Sony's right up there with them now, which is crazy. I've never said that about any first party studio development team prior to this generation. And I thought he gave some really good insight in that. I really liked his topics in talking about VR.
Yes, I like that too. Yeah.
Which is good. Nice. Yeah, because there's been some controversy about VR. Is it a fad? Is it here to stay? And they said, hey, look, you know what? You don't get to version 3 without getting to version 1.0. And I thought that was a great point, because he's right. Like you don't get VR into people's hands unless you try it.
Right.
And they seem very committed to it. And I was actually happy to hear, even though I don't own PSVR. I maybe next generation, maybe invest in it, but I'm glad to hear that they're still dedicated to it.
Yes.
And that they haven't abandoned it, because that's a huge investment.
Yeah, the one that says backward compatibility, that guy, Jim Ryan.
Yeah, that guy. I'm like, I don't know about him. Like, I hope someone's scripting stuff for him, because he seems to.
Well, that's the thing. They put him in a position now where he's about the business moving forward. Like he really should not be making any comment. It's all of that's going to be to Shawn, basically. So
yeah, Shawn won't hear too much. Yeah, Shawn should be doing any of the press releases, interviews, not him. But the crossplay thing was interesting. I think, like King said, they're in the driver's seat. They really don't have to do anything, but I do think they should, because I think Microsoft has put himself in a really interesting position coming into next console generation. And we had David Jaffe on a couple weeks ago, and David.
That was a great interview.
Yeah, David's a Sony guy. He's made all his games on, partnering with Sony. He said he thinks Microsoft, and he even said this before we went on live. He goes, I think Microsoft, with crossplay, with Game Pass, the current, Halo, Gears, those, the big franchises they have, plus, the acquisitions of those new studios. He's like, they're in position. They could take Sony's lunch next generation.
Yeah, I heard when he said that. That was a powerful statement. King was
good.
And then
all right. You already know my opinion on it. I thought all that was smoke and mirrors and crap. All right. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. They don't have to do a damn thing. Y'all can sit here and beg and plead and yell and scream. They don't have to do anything. They won't do anything. They're not gonna get anybody a leg up until they have to do it. Right. Microsoft is doing all this stuff because they are losing. So don't get it twisted like, oh, they're doing it over here and they're for the people. Bruh, when they're winning, they're not for the people. Sony is not for the people. Right now, they are winning. You are still following them. So let's keep it a buck. When you don't have to do something, you won't do it until the moment that they force you to move your hands. So now they're gonna have to be in a position of looking at Microsoft from behind. And then they're gonna have to try to catch up. And they've been doing this little dance, this little 1-2 step for a long time. I believe Sovereign is telling the truth again with his Sastradamus self.
Sastradamus.
They talk in the background. You're gonna lead this generation because we're gonna bumble it to the death. And it's your turn now. And y'all about to. Oh, I see your stocks is low. All right, so we're gonna come out there and say something totally idiotic. Like, here, we're gonna put this in the box, charge you more, give you less power. Like, who the hell? Like if you really had to write this down, like, how this is a formula to lose, right? So, and Sony said all the right stuff. They actually went to the background and said, okay, we're gonna do this. All that stuff with Shawn Layden. They're switching titles. They're letting you know, I'm in the front. I'm doing this. It's going this way. Oh, you want to talk about cross progression? Yeah, we're going to think about that. We're going to They're not doing none of that, bro. And you're going to sit there and wait until they're forced through their hand. Listen, let's not forget, Fortnite forced them to.
Yeah,
Fortnite is a juggernaut, a movement within itself that forced them to get down and lay down. Now they can even say, okay, well, if you're not going to do that, what we're going to do is just give all this stuff to Microsoft and Nintendo and everybody else who wants to play fair. Oh, what? Nah. Okay, we down with that. Like, so when you have to force the big dude to move forward, then he's gonna move forward. Right now, Sony's in control. Y'all might not like it. That's how it goes. All right. And when you the boss, nobody tells the boss what to do.
Let me jump in and we get out of here, man. Listen, all great topics. Shout out to Kratos for coming through. He had to bounce out. But to me, I'm with you, Sav. I mean, I got two things out of the interview. I mean, his games of a service answers I actually respected it in the sense that he didn't say no to it. And that he was willing to like even partner with other people as far as that, but he still gave me that vibe that single player is their lane, and that's what they're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So I did like that, and they are. Let's be real, they're the king of the single player narrative experience. You know what I mean? So I rocked with him on that as far as staying in his lane. He also had his chest out about Sony being leaders and not followers, but I have to give him in the VR space, that is true. Astrobot is killing it. They've definitely pushed it. They haven't. Sony notoriously had a history of kind of sometimes running away from peripherals, and with VR, they are invested. So the funny part to me though is like the cloud stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because I know the fanboys, again, they always kill Xbox and stuff, fans for saying that, you know, but he kind of said, like, look, you know, they're kind of going to do the same thing Microsoft is doing in the sense of, you know, they're not caring about what console to play it on, but he literally was reiterating what Phil Spencer said that, you know, they're going to have you on any device. You know what I'm saying? Now, the crossplay, you know, let's just call it what it is. You know what I'm saying? He kind of got, I don't want to say he got caught out there, but it's whether there's the discommunication, there's miscommunication between the top level and the actual devs, but what he's saying ain't matching up to what the devs are saying. You know what I mean? So they got to get that straight because crossplay is definitely something that the devs want. A lot of, you know, at this point, as far as gaming, as far as thriving communities, and more importantly, like Bloodi said, cross progression. So that's to me even more important. Like I want cross progression before anything. You know what I'm saying? So
and I'm glad you brought the VR because that's the one thing that I've said this generation they proved me wrong on. They always drop peripherals after a year or two.
Yo, I have been in Sony's camp with peripherals so long, and to see them always abandon, like I'm still in my feelings over.
You know what's funny is he didn't get the VR and they supporting it.
And then they I'm like, this the one y'all want to rock with, and I always get their peripheral. I was so tight, King. I'm glad you said that.
Remember the iToy back on the PS2 that lasted all of a year?
That?
They got rid of that. Then they did the i2 2.0 on PS3. Got rid of that. Then they did the iMove when they did the Sony move.
The moves work now for this VR, but I'm about to sell my VR. Because the new one is coming.
The new one's coming. That's why. Yeah, I already know you.
But I'll wait on the VR then. Even though I got that Pro.
Yo, that's all I got, man. This is a crazy long show. We got to finish up. I'm sorry, y'all, but it was lit, but we had to finish.
This is a crazy long show.
Yo, new ILP poll this week. So with the final release of Crackdown 3, King's Hot Fire, and mostly negative reviews of the game, do you think the Xbox fan base should demand more from Microsoft in terms of game quality moving forward? The choices are A, yes, the damage control for Xbox exclusives hurt the brand. Oh, I know where BRAP's going.
Yep, you already know what I'm going to answer.
Choice B. No, Microsoft is already addressing with new studios. Most of you had no intention of buying Crackdown 3 anyway.
Tell them about it.
Or C, I don't care. It's all fun and games until Metacritic rips my favorite game. Those are the choices. Please write the ILP vote when it goes up. Lord Bloodi3Knuckl3z, absolute pleasure to have you in the building. Lord BRAP, absolute pleasure to have you. Lord Kratos, absolute pleasure to have you guys in the building. Lord Bloodi, where can find you? What do you have going on, sir?
For those who missed it yesterday, I did on my channel. If they go over to youtube.com/BloodiKnuckles, I did a Valentine's Day episode for all things anime related with some lovely ladies from the community. I had Charisse from Grown Women Gaming, and I had I love Charisse, and of course I had the sweetheart Sugar Witchling, a special streamer I met while I was at PAX South. We were on there talking about things, so make sure y'all go check that out. We did go over our favorite waifus and husbandos and all that stuff, very anime related. And you saw the presentation. I definitely stepped up my game over on there.
I see you, brother. I see you.
So things a lot changing over there, and of course they can find me Thursdays over with Salty and the guys from TSGP. And then every Friday they can also find me on GRG with K Mega and his crew.
That's what we want to be. GRG, remember that? Yeah. When I see that name, I think it's school day.
And then of course they also want to make sure that they're checking out the Tick Games Network YouTube channel, because I'll be over there with my boy JD on the Otaku Fix.
Otaku Fix. Yo, shout out to GWG though. Delilah's in the building. Grown Women Gamers in the building. When they drop on Saturdays, y'all, 12 o'clock. Yo, please check them out. Support the ladies
of the realm.
Support the ladies of the realm. They be in here rapping with the ILP. Have to show love. We got to get the love. We got to get all of them in here. Definitely.
But other than that, just everyone. I love the love I got in the chat earlier when everyone was hearing my history was was very special and humbling. And actually, I got probably one of my first fan mails thanks to you guys, because on Xbox, I got a friend request and talked to the person. They added me because they saw me on your guys' podcast and fell in love with what I talked about. So that was very special. So you guys, it's thanks to y'all for getting me out there. But everyone, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Mixer.com especially. I'm always streaming. I'm doing a giveaway. All my information is BloodiKnucklez. The O's is 0, the E's are 3, and it ends in a Z. Woo! So check it out, guys.
Bars. The boy spitting bars just now. You saw that? Yo, shout out.
It's a lost art form.
Exactly. Yo, shout out
right there.
Glad to. All right.
Official.
There we go.
Yeah. Right there, everyone. Check it out.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to Bloody, because again, it's good to support the up and coming content creators. He's got his own lane. He's doing his thing. The kids out here working hard, and we definitely want to support that, because, like I said, people gave us an opportunity. We always want to show the love back. It doesn't matter how big, how small, man. If you're doing good content, you will eventually be in the realm. And salute, brother. I'm glad that people are finally getting a chance to see what you do. So that's dope.
And so thank you guys.
BRAP from the Basement Radio Arcade, one of my favorite podcasts. Repping, you know what I'm saying?
Ninjas in the building.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? These are ninjas in the building for real. You know what I'm saying? Where can the fine people find you? What you got going on, brother?
All right. Yeah, you can find us on YouTube at the Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also follow me on the Twitters at BRAP_podcast. And I just want to say, gentlemen, thank you. It's always an honor and pleasure to be on the show. Love what you guys are doing. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much, man. Shout out to the team, man. Got to shout out B Money, Eric Jackson. I like when you say it with the coming to America. Right? Eric Jackson.
Eric Jackson, everybody.
Just everybody. You know what I'm saying? Love that. Yo, shout out. I call them like the podcast brothers, Gaming Forte and Slow Mo. Like, I just love the dynamic they have, and the energy they bring to the show. You guys are really killing. Have some great interviews. Please check out the interviews they've been doing, man. Really good show. And what time again? So we got it for the people, so they know, for BRAP.
Yep, Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man.
Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Please check them out, man. Fire podcast doesn't get enough credit, man.
Yeah, and we actually are giving away a copy of Anthem. I should have mentioned that.
Oh, you should have said that to King.
Why are you giving away that thing? Why are you trying to get people to unsubscribe?
Savagery.
Oh, you know what? If you give it to me, I might not play it. Hey,
that is my goal, man. Yo, BRAP, thanks for coming through, brother. Love your insight on the Crackdown and Sony stuff. Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Discussions with my brother. So that's what's up, man. So yeah, man. Lord Attic had to run as well. Shout out to him to work. But Lord Sav, where can the people find you? What you got going on, sir?
First out, big shout out to BLoodyKnucklz.
Woo!
BRAP and to Kratos for coming through this triple XL episode we had today.
It was a double feature.
Yeah, and I appreciate everybody sticking around, man. We had a high count of people, the entire show sticking around. So thank you so much for all that support. We really appreciate it. You guys can catch me Twitter, LordSav ILP. PSN Xbox Live at BX Sovereign.
Caught you on that Delapo video recently.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, you can catch Hero Unlocked. Episode of Hero Unlocked.
Oh, you on it too?
Yes. Yeah, I did one for Black History Month. Jax, he went in on the Jax character.
Yeah, it was lit.
Awesome.
Check out all of Delapo's videos, period. But Hero Unlocked is really, really cool because he goes in depth with the history of
I love his
games, his characters. Really, really well done. Excellent production values. Go check out all of Delapo.
He in the chat. Yeah, plug it.
you know what? I love his stuff so much.
You're supposed to be on too.
Yeah, his content is so good. Like, I love that guy.
Yo, please, if you haven't checked our brother out, he's part of the stream team, Lord Delapo, aka Potentially Perfect. Search that in YouTube. Potentially Perfect. The brother's out here. Great content, man. He's been doing it for a while. It's finally getting some recognition. So the Lords are definitely going to support him. He was supposed to be in here with us, Saul. It was supposed to be.
It was about Switch game.
I was going to jump King and Attic. I was going to sneak him in. I was going to do like a wrestling move where you hit the music.
And then he comes from under the mat. He comes from under the mat.
We like hit Attic with a chair.
The Pearl Harbor job.
Yeah. Absolutely. Lord King. aka Lord Dylon.
Dylan.
Like if you're not playing that Crackdown, it's hot fire. Like, listen, let me tell you, man, I love this show. I love the fact that Kratos came on. That is my brother. Beautiful. A lot of times people like to say stupid things about the man, but the man thinks about what he's about to say, and he doesn't regurgitate other crap from other people. He has his own lane, and he speaks the truth. 90% of the time, I'm down with everything that he says. Shout out to my man, BRAP. Me and BRAP got it. We got to get to Apex now. I think we moved on to Apex right, BRAP? Yeah. Yes. And shout out to Bloody. See you in Cali. You know how it do.
You already know,
we didn't get a chance to the last topic. I know you're probably looking at Black Desert Beta.
Sorry, y'all.
Get to Black Desert Beta, 4K, 30 frames per second.
Yo,
it's the top
beautiful.
MMO.
Beautiful. I have to give you I was like, why King pick this topic? Then I downloaded the beta. I said, yo.
Like, what is this? Like, you see the world. Bro, the detail and what you can go through. Like, I sat there with Bone and stuff, but I want you to give that a try. It's out in beta. It's free. Go check that out. It's on the Xbox dashboard. Listen, y'all see the stuff. Videos and stuff is coming this week. We have 100 episode coming next week. Special things happening. There's gonna be stuff that's going on. This is the place that you want to be. Trust me when I tell you, you do not want to miss the 100 episode. And then you can DM me to find out about that $500 champagne.
No, that Ace of Spades from the love. Yo, shout out to King on that, man. Yo, tremendous turnout, man.
Hey, King, did you ever do your spicy noodle challenge last year?
No, nobody.
I told you, hit me up. We gonna do it. We gonna do it.
You're not gonna do it for free. We not.
He refuses to do it for free. That's not happening.
I've done it before. I'll do it again for free.
No, you be quiet. You don't say that. You don't ever say you doing anything for free.
Look, I'll do it. I mean, y'all can laugh. You get the money.
Relax him. Cut his mic off. Let's go.
And cut. Just cut.
Yo, shout out to everybody that came through the chat. It's absolutely lit, man. Yo, shout out, hit that like, that subscribe, notification gang, please. You know what I'm saying? Please do that. And also, real quick, I want you guys, look, if you guys like the content, please retweet, man. It really helps us. If anything about the show you enjoyed, please retweet. Say, spread the word, man. We're trying to do positive content. And like Lord King said, episode 100, y'all better be in the building next week, man. We got
to be live
to drop, man. We gonna have some fun. Thank you guys for the support. Make sure you support the stream team as well. You know what I'm saying? Lord Snaldo, L Boogie that was in the chat, old school style. MJ is a boss, and Lord Delapo himself, all streaming each and every week on twitch.tv/IronLordPodcast.com. Lord Kai Batsu, he's gonna have all the audio up later on today. Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, all that good stuff. Links will be in descriptions. We'll get everybody's link in there. We'll get BloodiKnucklez, Smash Podcast, a Taco Fix on Tick. Please catch that as well. You know what I'm saying? And then we're also gonna have BRAP Podcast's link as well as Kratos. I don't know if he's doing a Scumcast still, but I'll get that information, man. The kid's like, y'all still live? Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Hey, so we're off now.
We're almost off, man. And of course, you already know the last word with myself and Ebontis talking all that looter shooter talk. It was very fiery in there. Please catch that one. It was Destiny versus Andrew. Yeah, King with the Destiny.
Destiny killer.
And Bontis, I'm with you, boy.
We were fighting. It was literally a Division 2 versus Anthem podcast. Very fun. Trials will sound all that good stuff. But yeah, man, thanks everyone for the support. Enjoy your Sunday. If anybody got anything else, all right, we Gucci. Well, no, we're not Gucci.
No, we Fendi. We Fendi and Louis Vuitton.
Did you say we Infinity and Louis Vuitton? Oh no! Oh no! Cut that man's mic. Get him out of here.
It's Black Gucci for Black businesses, man. That's right. That's what you gotta do. But everybody enjoy your Sunday. Thank you guys so much. Peace.
You listen. It's 4 hours.